you see when you look at me, when you look in my door? How you doing? Glad you came through. Welcome to the Sugar Love Show, where we have fun. Fun, grab your friends and dance along. Join the party all night long. Love you for a ride. Buckle up, hold tight, we gonna ignite. Shake your body to the rhythm. Let the music take control. When the beat drops, you better lose control. We're to make memories, create an unforgettable night. Forget about your worries. Let's spread the love and shine so bright. Welcome to the Sugar Love Show, where the energy is high. We're gonna dance the morning light. Feel the music. Hey Joe, how you doing? Glad you came through. Welcome to the Sugar Love Show, where we have fun. Grab your friends and dance along. Join the party all night long. Love you for a ride. Buckle up, hold tight, we gonna ignite. Shake your body to the rhythm. Let the music take control. When the beat drops, you better lose control. We're to make memories, create an unforgettable night. Forget about your worries. Let's spread the love and shine so bright. Welcome to the Sugar Love Show, where the energy is high. We're gonna dance the morning light. Feel the music.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Howdy, Miss Leo. Howdy, Lakeisha. Howdy, Spice. Howdy. Howdy, Madary. Howdy, Jackie. How's you guys doing? Yeah, we got another good show for you guys tonight. And we're going to still continue. We're going to still continue the show from yesterday. All right, hold on for 1 second. Okay. All right, let me remove that little linky link so nobody else don't clicky clink. If you know what I mean, hey, beautiful queen.
Greetings, beautiful queen. How are you?
I am fine. This people keep knocking at the door. My poor dog going crazy, and there's never not my door.
Right.
It ain't even my house. Damn, you be all up in people business, right? How are y'all doing tonight? Howdy. In my little fake country accent, but you can't tell me I
Gucci
ain't
was
country. You
dead
can't tell me
sleeping.
I ain't country, huh?
Right. Yeah. I said Gucci was dead sleeping. My neighbors called him from outside. Girl, he done jumped up from under the covers and think he finna jump through the window. Boy, if you don't sit down.
he he's really up. I'm like, because he was my house or something. Like, damn,
Mhm.
why you so quiet then? All right, guys, today we're gonna. Y'all ever heard of a wet nurse? Have you guys heard of a wet
Yes.
nurse?
Yes.
I'm waiting for my people in the audience. Where y'all at? Have
Put
you
a one in the
guys
chat.
put a one in the chat if you heard of a wet nurse? All right, cool. We're gonna watch it anyway. I got you. You know, I got you. Them some freaky people. Ow. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we're gonna see some things up in here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they may think it's a little popo. No, no, no. We don't know. We shall find out. Mm, hold on. What I do with it? Hold on. Give me a second. Uh-oh. Give me a second, you guys. How you doing? Welcome. We're gonna talk about the wet nurse, but I don't know what I did with it. Oh no, no, damn it. I be having stuff lined up, then I turn around and don't. Yes, I'm getting old. I really am getting old. This is ridiculous. Okay. We told y'all we gotta get back to learning in here. Get back to learning in here. And we still gonna finish the one from last night, Lakeisha.
Okay.
Cause we was way, way, way over time. Well, we ain't never over time. We are team stay up, but we had the team get on down with the team stay up. We gotta know when to get down too. And then
Yep.
I knew for a fact by the time I was getting ready to go to bed, that's the time my cat want me to get up. So I ain't getting no sleep. Right. All right, I found it. Let's go. It's called a wet nurse, right? And the credit goes to Black Journal. Black Journal. Credit goes to Black Journal. This is fair use purposes, for educational purposes. Let's go.
Yes, you heard right. They. Do you know that black female slaves were used as wet nurses too? Yes, you heard right. They were. Since slavery, the dehumanization of black people has been entrenched deeply in the social pyramid. One such is the tragic case of black enslaved mothers who were forced to breastfeed their owners' children at the expense of theirs. History has it that the practice of having black lactating mothers breastfeed white kids originated in the 1600s when malaria claimed numerous lives of many white settlers. The slave owners believed that feeding their babies with milk from their native slaves would provide them with natural immunity towards malaria. This had a trickle-down impact on not only racial, but also the psychological, financial, and political fabric of the society throughout the black community. The plight of enslaved black wet nurses is a heart-wrenching chapter in history. Stripped of autonomy over their bodies, they were treated as commodities. Oral history has it that wives of slave owners timed their pregnancies with that of their slaves and then forcefully separated enslaved new mothers from their infants to serve as wet nurses for their own children. Enslaved black mothers were often beaten up and treated harshly to ensure compliance in feeding the babies of white slave masters. These slaves were sometimes milked like.
So not only, and these men still want us to be held accountable. right? These are the same men. Again, it's not about right or wrong. It's about leave us alone. We all, y'all, they have not been through, it's both equally bad, but being a woman makes it a little bit worse. Anytime you have to have a baby because your oppressor is pregnant and you have to feed that person's baby and not yours. So if a Caucasian woman wanted to get knocked up back then, guess what? What if the black women didn't want to have no babies? Again, we had no choice. Again, we had no choice. We had to have these babies. Girl, I hope you could click back in because that link is not up. I took that link out. Right? We had to have them babies just so they can drink our breast milk. And that will what you will be called a wet nurse. Yes, the topic is a wet nurse. That is a topic of not just not just feeding your your oppressor's baby, but in the way it was done. You got something to say, baby, before I started?
No, my internet dropped real quick. I had to get back online.
Because I'm like, I don't feel like Jade and I popping up disturbing. I'm like, I'm not put I took that link right out, right? But
Thank you kindly. The chat in the side. Thank you kindly.
I don't like y'all people. I swear y'all
Much
just as bad as
obliged,
me.
ma'am. Much obliged, ma'am. Much obliged. And I'm
Y'all
doing a
train.
curtsy.
I don't like y'all. But either who, you before I go into it any bit more, how did you feel about this?
I've always felt it was unfair that those women had to give up their bodies and be separated from their children to feed other women's children. And they couldn't. A lot of women connect directly to their children when they're breastfeeding, and it's also a way to help the woman's body heal from childbirth. So that was something that connection was taken away from that woman, um, against her will.
Even worse, what if she didn't want to have no baby?
Exactly. Like, what are you talking about? You timed your pregnancy at the same time as hers just so you can snatch her baby away. So, like,
Right.
they're
So,
capping.
right. Like I need you to tonight. Go call Mr. Stallion. Go call Mr. Stallion or husband. We ain't gonna we that bastard child. We will not tell nobody it's yours. But she got to get knocked up tonight.
Right.
And we wonder why. And I try to explain this to people. We got to get in the forgiveness stage. It's depending on your age bracket, right? If you are like 48 and up, could be 45, but really 48 and up, you have to learn to forgive your mother because your mother probably should have been born between like the late 40s, 50s, and then you got to forgive the grandmothers and great grandmothers because they were separated from us so much that they never bonded with their children. They never had a
No,
chance to be a good
no.
mother or bond with their kids, but they kept having these babies and couldn't bond with them, right? So you would hear a lot of men and women, they would say, well, my mother never connected. She didn't have a chance to do that. It doesn't take away
Right.
from it doesn't take away from the how you feel. Your feelings are valid. But you also have to have an understanding. that it wasn't done on purpose. They just didn't know. That's why I like to keep going back with these stories so you could see how a lot of black mothers, A, kept getting knocked, get besides us getting baked on a regular. Now we gotta have babies, right? And we gotta keep on having these babies long as they're having babies. Then your kid just snatched from you. You don't have the husband, the traditional husband that they talk about that doesn't exist. And then the man, I don't know, it's crazy, but a man, even though he's slavery or not, a man gonna be a man. They could just go. They could just leave, right?
On their two
Even
feet,
though,
get up, walk on their 2 feet, get them legs, and walk on out that door.
and what I mean by that is even if they taken away and they're gonna miss their family, it's really easy for them to start another one. Where some of the women never want to see another man again ever. But it's just so easy for them. It's like they don't say, you know
Yeah,
what, they took me from my wife and my kids, or I don't even know if they was able to even to get married back then. But remember that was just a piece of paper, so we're gonna still just say my wife. They took me from my wife and kids. I know they gonna start fall in love just that quick, fall in love on the next plantation and just have another family. And that, as usual, the women are left behind. I told you we've been single mothers since the slave ship. We've been single mothers since the slave ship. We have always been single
right.
mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no fault of the man. There's we not see they think when we speak history, like especially like if the trolls want to come up in here, they don't understand this is just history. All we doing is commentary. You can't come with you what you have to say if you seeing what we're seeing right here. Like it's right here. Like it's in front of you. There were we was always single mamas. You know what's these two parent home? Even when we spoke upon the households in the 80s, they still want to fight that. Well, because that is the system. When wasn't it the damn system?
Right.
When wasn't it the system? So at some point in time, if we was doing good, if the system was that bad, we would never had a point in time when we were doing good. We would have never been doing good ever, ever. So at some point in time, you can't blame the system all the time. If it was a particular time where it was two family households and with the middle class, they became middle class. They started going to get their education, going to college, getting jobs, becoming professors and teachers and authors and all these good things. So did the system stop them? They were able to. So every time something go bad and we got to be accountable for it, or instead of us saying that's what happens, us want to blame it. When we got here because of their system, when wasn't it never their system? We don't want to hear about no, these are actors. Boy, bye.
Right.
You talk about you that age. If you that age, what are you talking to me for? Then even if they're actors, it ain't like we didn't look out. We didn't come outside and see the same shit with our own eyes.
Exactly. Right.
Ask if I wasn't born, and I'm like, you know what? I wasn't born. No, I don't believe them. Like here, these stories is passed down to us through our family members as much as they can go or how much as they can recall, right? But I'm listening, but it's different if I'm living in it. It's a big old difference. This ain't no passed down story. And at that age, at them particular years, that's absolutely true. But we're gonna get back because you know we're supposed to do commentary. We was never together for us to fall apart. We didn't have them rights yet. We was not able to be families back then. But let's carry on.
Cows to feed white babies. The cruel treatment, coupled with the emotional trauma of being separated from their own children, led to a distorted image of black mothers as unloving and harsh, a stereotype perpetuated by slave owners to justify their inhumane practices. What didn't these slaveholders do that is called evil? What experiment didn't they try on people of color when it comes to the talk about slavery? In this video, we are examining the lives of black female slave wet nurses and the untold traumas they endured at the hands of their slave masters. Before we continue, don't forget to support our works by hitting that like button in front of you. Share with a whole lot to us. Let us proceed. A deep dive into this dark history exposes how black mothers were systemically deprived of breastfeeding their own children to nourish that of their white counterparts. It shouldn't be commonized in any way when that black woman is not allowed to have any authority, not even over her own body, because of her blackness. When she cannot be allowed to breastfeed even her own tender baby because she must breastfeed the white baby with it. And then she'd watch her lovely child die because she wasn't there for it, even though she was there. Nothing can be more traumatic. There is no telling the sorrows these black female slaves go through as wet nurses in the hands of their enslavers. A woman who breastfeeds and cares for another's child is a wet nurse. Wet nurses are employed if the mother dies, or if she is unable or chooses not to.
Hi, we're Visible. We're the wireless company with nothing to hide. Seriously. Hidden fees?
To nurse the child herself. Wet nursing existed in cultures around the world until the invention of reliable formula milk in the 20th century, although it is said that this practice has made a small comeback in the 21st century. But come to think of it, if you do not want or like to breastfeed the child, why put it to birth in the first place? While considerations in this subject persist, there are many reasons why the service of a wet nurse is employed. But the most common amongst them, especially during the dark ages of slavery, is simple. Most women chose not to breastfeed for all kinds of social reasons. The kind of reasons one is compelled to consider rather bizarre and unnatural. Let's look at it. For upper-class women, breastfeeding was considered unfashionable in the sense that it not only prevented them from being able to wear the fashionable clothing of their time, but it was also thought to ruin their figures. Working women faced other pressures to abandon breastfeeding, including from their husbands. Hiring a wet nurse was less expensive than having to hire someone else to help run the family business and take care of the family household duties in their place. Also, some women chose to hire wet nurses purely to escape from the confining and time-consuming chore of breastfeeding. This use of enslaved women as wet nurse caused a great deal of debate among Southerners. Many slaveholding women did not even see nursing their children as part of their normal responsibilities as mothers. Other women did look upon this practice with a skeptical and critical eye. In one woman's judgment, that woman is but half a mother who does not suckle her own children. Sickening as hell as this sounds, the invaluable breast milk of the black female slave, often referred to as liquid gold in this era, solely benefited the children of white slaveholders, being singularly devoted to their nourishment most of the time. And because these slaves were so consumed with feeding white babies to the point of exhaustion, they often gave cow milk or goat milk or even dirty water as substitutes to their own babies. This resulted in the high death rates of babies of slaves and susceptibility to diseases in the early childhood of black children. Enslaved women, acting as wet nurses, were traumatized immensely due to the conditions they were exposed to unceasingly. First, they are used as breeders to make more slaves for their masters, conceiving their babies through all kinds of sexual abuses. And then after they put...
Oh, Lord, you know, even though you watch this and you know this, it's like, I'm sorry, I do not get desensitized to this. Some people do. I do not.
Sugar.
Because we don't understand we related to these people. We don't get it. So a lot of our aunts and our great uncles never made it. They could have been our uncle. You know what I'm saying? They could have been if they were able to survive.
Right. Imagine giving your own child dirty water and having to give your good milk that God gave you for your child that you birthed to someone else's child.
And the bad part about it, again, they had to breed these babies in just for them. Like, hey, I go mind my business. I don't even want the
Right,
man. I don't even know the
right.
man. I don't want you. Don't even want the kid. Right? You'd be amazed how many back in them days. How many you think people don't know their baby daddies now? They really didn't. A lot of them didn't know their baby daddies back then.
Nope. And you see this lady sitting here with 3 babies in her
That's why I
arms.
had to. Mm. Hey, Angela. Mm, mm. Them poor babies was hungry. Poor babies were hungry. Cows, milk. I was like, listen, yep, and whew, that's why people were like, well, the system. Okay, when wasn't it the system? I don't understand your point. Yes, Angela, I don't understand y'all manosphere's point there. They turned out against us. We were never really together. We tried to fall in love, but they wouldn't allow it. Just within maybe 30 to 40 years, we had a little bit of time out of hundreds of years, out of 400 years, maybe 30, 40 years where we was able to be families. And that was still a minority, not the majority. Because every time a man of these days and time talk about their grandma and grandpa, they're not really talking about their real grandma and grandpa. Right? They it's like that's just the top thing that come off their tongue. Well, grandma and grandpa, you don't even know your grandma and grandpa. Stop it, right? It ain't they real, but it rolls off their tongue. All of them in the manosphere, all of their grandmamas and granddaddies. Sorry, no. I can talk to people right now. They ain't never say grandma and grandpa was together. You may get a couple, but it's not the majority. It's the minority.
My bonus dad's not his father, his bio father, but my grandmother had a husband, and we were raised with them. But I would prefer my grandfather be single, and he was my grandfather by marriage because but the way she nagged him and all that stuff, no, the way she cussed and fussed all day long with me and everybody else in the house, no.
And
And that
it's
was a
just,
big old man. But I understand now that
mm-hmm,
she basically took out her frustration from her getting a good
mm-hmm.
man, from having a bad men that beat and abused her. When she got a good man, she didn't know how to appreciate him.
And besides that, we don't know her relationship, how her household was. Remember, we're not that far removed from slavery, right? So we don't even
Right,
know if
right.
she was loved, and maybe all she knew was abuse. That's why when she got the good man, when she preferred the bad man, when she got the
Mhm.
good man, she didn't know what to do. Cause we all, any way you
And
put it,
what
we
I
all
find is
effed up.
strange. I find it strange that all of those women in that family were real big bone, big, strong women, but they had men just throwing everything at their feet. Like the meaner they were, the more the men loved them. And it was the oddest thing in the world to me.
Because if you look back there, these women look happy there? Shit, Bobby's in their blood already, right? It wasn't mean it's in their blood already. Shit. Because you see people walking around with kids, they happy. Some people are not happy.
I
They
know my mother wasn't
they
because
take
she
care of their
already had to take
responsibility.
care of other people's kids. When you have to grow up and take care of other people's kids, your cousins, and all of this stuff, and then you end up having a child, it's not an easy task.
And
You would think
especially back then, just so you could have more slave kids, the women they don't have all these kids. They probably didn't ask for not one. Not one. And then if you were the stallion man, shit, I don't see where his complaints were coming at. He get the poke away.
But I would think even that would get tiring being used as a piece of meat. It's one thing when they want to do it. it's another thing when you just prod and prod it to get your semen.
Now listen, it have to get hard. So once it get already hard, they good. Right? They good. They're like, oh, I didn't want to do it, but I'm already in it. Right? I'm already in it. Oh, okay, fine. Right. They probably didn't want to do it 5 minutes prior. But within the next 5 minutes, it's like I'm in there, right? But it depends, it depends on how many stallions per thing. And the poor women, and I keep saying women like they grown. Them poor young girls, they weren't young women. Them poor young women had to sit up there and lay on that table. Lay right there. Let some strange man come and have X with you for a baby. They had our menstrual cycle. Um, they knew more about our menstrual cycle than what we did.
Yep.
They knew when to put your ass on that table. Hmm. Terrible. Okay, you got the lay right there. They got hold of little. That's when they time, they just line them up. That's a shit. I keep telling
Yep.
you, a lot of people are cousins and siblings and third cousins down the line, fourth cousins removed. And that's why they had to put the word removed there. Because technically, if you're a cousin, you're a cousin. They
Right.
had to put removed there. Why is the word removed there? Right? We still come from the same tree, don't we? So where does the word removed come from? They put it there for a reason, right? Fourth cousin removed, fifth cousin. What the fuck does remove mean? Somewhere down the line, we share
Because
a
those are the
grandma.
bio lines to inbreed. That's what that is.
Exactly. Exactly. And from in the inbreed, it become because if that stallion went to them, them kids are siblings.
Yep.
Yeah, we still are lost. Up. This is why our minds are still lost, and this is why people always say they want it, and which I know for a fact is a lie. Because even my age and even in my age bracket and before my age bracket, I've never heard women promoting being a stay at home wife. They always promoted education. They always
Right.
promoted
Right.
education. Now, if you were in a particular religion or something, I am not in the religion. Maybe they promoted that. But regular folks, even the churchgoers,
You better go to
they
school. Better get you some college. Better go.
exactly.
What you gonna do for college? You got your SATs done yet? They
Matter of
start.
fact,
They start you already. Drill you.
Matter of fact, even when kids went to school or college, that was what you call the big announcement. Hey, we got sister such and such
Uh
daughter
huh.
just got accepted to such and such. That was a big old thing. This is in the church. So I've never
Yep.
seen in my years of living and from my mother getting her education, becoming a nurse. I've never heard nobody say, settle down and just have a bunch of kids, right? They always promoted education because every generation wants the next generation to do better. This is how you progress. You cannot progress if all the woman job is to do is shut up, stay barefoot and pregnant. You
Right.
cannot progress in society.
No.
You cannot. The only way we can progress is through education, or even if a woman had to work the other way, it still worked, right? It's been made not been good work the three or four of us was doing, but it still worked, right? But either way, you could not stay home and just make babies. Even if you had to stand on that corner, that's still a job. You had to work, go out and bring home money. It wasn't just coming to you. You had to go out and get it. And there's no way they promote it well just for the men to work. Because if that is true, just hypothetically speaking, if that is true, then men will have more of a work ethic. If they promoted women to stay home, as they say, and it's if we're going back through all these years, and a woman's job was to be in the house with the kids, then men would have better work ethics because it would have been in their genes since generation for generation. So there would not be all these men who are lazy because if we had a job to sit home, we cannot sit home and be just mothers unless the men are working. So all these single mothers
Those are
or men not
facts.
having, so it could not have been that way. How does it work that way for a woman but does not work that way for a man? So it could not have been promoted. It has been said that's what you probably wanted your sons to do, but it wasn't a thing where they had to work because they was trained to be husbands, if you understand what I mean. If we was trained to be wives,
I
then
understand.
they would have had to been trained to be husbands. So why wasn't they trained to be husbands? And even if they didn't do nothing but work, they wasn't even trained to do that. Because there's too many, then they would not be crying about the welfare system or being taken out of their house if they was trained to work.
Right.
Even if it's two jobs. You didn't say, listen, I don't care if your feet hurt, your shoes is busted. You got to take care of that family. Even if you got to work 12, 13 hours a day, that's supposed to have been the normal. That would have made you get that house for that wife or get that apartment. And guess what? You would have been head of the household because her job is to take care, stay home and take care of the kids. So you guys say. So if things went according to the way y'all say it, why is there so many men without a job? Then you want to say, oh, it's the mother. Well, make up your mind. The father's job is to do, the father's wasn't there. So somewhere down the line, somebody's lying here. They got histories sort of kind of messed up.
Put to birth, they're not allowed the space to even breastfeed their newborn or exposed to unceasingly. First, they are used as breeders to make more slaves for their masters, conceiving their babies through all kinds of sexual abuses. And then after
Hey,
they put to
sis.
birth, they're not allowed the space to even breastfeed their newborns. It is a maddening state. A plight dimming and devastating enough to shape the psyche of the enslaved, rippling through their generations. Enslaved slave women were only allowed 1 or 2 months at most away from their duties before their masters required them to return to work, leaving their children with another slave. Being deprived of time with their own children, enslaved women must have resented time with their slave masters' children. In Stephen Firth Ash's book, A Year in the South, 1865, he describes how Matilda Hughes, an enslaved woman, had to work so much that her twins died because she was unable to breastfeed them often enough. If enslaved women's children died of neglect, how must they have felt when coerced to breastfeed their owners' children? Reluctant slaves were beaten and often milked like cows to feed white babies. Whether you surrendered or not, the choice wasn't yours to make. The authority isn't yours to command. You are yourself a property. Many slave owners practiced wet nursing as a form of birth control among black slaves. In that era, having an heir and a spare was a common practice among the wealthy and affluent. Relegating the nursing duties to a black mother freed up the white mothers for giving birth to the next progeny. However, nursing and raising white children did not protect black women from cruelty. Some nurses did benefit by escaping the field labor to live in the houses. The cruelty was, however, perpetuated psychologically. In 1912, as seen on historian Kamna Kurdi's Medium page, a black nurse living in Georgia described her duties thus. I live a treadmill life, and I see my own children only when they happen to see me on the streets when I am out with the children, or when my children come to the yard to see me. Because my white folks don't like to see their servants' children hanging around their premises.
You hear that, Ish? You hear that?
I hear this bull, Swanky, and it's just blood boiling.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
The woman said the master don't like to see your kids around his premises.
And that's like passing by. Oh, hi, kid. Hi, daughter. And they like, who? Hey, son. They're like, who? I'm your mammy. I'm your mammy. They're like, what? And this go out to our good black brothers, the one protect the black man. The system is against the black man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I guess the system was for us, even in slavery. Y'all was able to kick our behinds. That's how much the system worked for y'all. And they turned the blind eye. They turned the blind eye. That's how much the system wants y'all. No, no, Angela. No, baby. Nope. Now, remember, if you wasn't a wet nurse, if they didn't make you become a wet nurse or a breeder, you was able to bond a little bit with your kids. But in this situation, you could not. So it's a lot of exchange relationships between mamas and with their kids.
Although wet nursing existed for many centuries.
Oh, and let y'all remember, they showing you older women, but them kids was from soon as they got their cycle. Soon as they got their cycle. So why I say that and why is that important? Because all kids did not get their cycle at 11 and 12. Some kids got their cycles at 9 and 10. And once you got your cycle, you are considered grown. So, on top of that, them dirty old men with these 10 and 11-year-olds, a lot of them passed away too from childbirth. Because they was probably breeders too. They didn't care how old you was. What? The cycle's here? You're grown. So you had a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it, but you had a lot of people say 13. No, before 13 years old too. Imagine you was playing jump rope one day. Then the next day you get the cramps of your life. The next thing you know, they don't give you no pills or nothing. All they do is pass you a rag and tell you you're grown. And then the next month, they breeding you. You like, what the funk? Even though you wasn't playing jump rope, but you was still a kid. And then that grown men coming on top of you. Can you understand how devastating that is? Very devastating. The next thing you know, you got more cramps. Then you don't see that red thing coming out no more. The next thing you know, they tell you you're having a baby. And they're like, what? Say what now? Can you imagine? No, don't imagine. Yeah, don't imagine. Yeah, I said don't imagine. And that's what Jack put. She said, I can't. But yeah, exactly. So we got to fill in them little gaps there. They didn't want them older women. The older woman's just in the picture. Just want you to know that. Yep. Yep, Angela, absolutely. But this is not really about them. This is also to combat some of that rhetoric bull crap that the manosphere be talking and the red pill, all their points to why we have to serve them like we haven't been through enough ourselves. They did some stuff to the kids too. And that would include boys, but the fathers is not around. The mothers had to hold that on their heads too. That would be the next one. But let's finish with the wet nurse.
Most times, due to medical related issues, in history, only slave mothers who were black were forced into the act. It was mandated at some point by slave owners that only one breast could be used to feed the white child. If she happens to switch and let both black and white babies suckle from the same breast, she would be whipped because it was seen as the same as letting them share from the same water fountain.
Damn.
While much attention is paid to the masculinized enslaved, white women's reliance on and exploitation of black women is often overlooked. The extent to which white women had commodified black wet nurses' labor can be seen in how they've reacted so far to this emotional distress. Instead of trying to improve conditions for enslaved wet nurses, white women typically use their wet nurses' despair as an excuse to sell them, noting in advertisements to other prospective buyers that this particular wet nurse was prone to the sulks or madness, lessening her value. Before the Civil War, white female slavers commonly found breastfeeding to be unfashionable and inconvenient. Instead, they preferred to have black enslaved wet nurses breastfeed their babies. These wet nurses were a valuable commodity. In 1850, 20% of white enslavers, that is about 70,000, relied on them to breastfeed their children. While wet nursing was a global and ancient practice for enslaved African women, it was dehumanizing.
Shop temperature balancing bedding from Sleep Number because 80% of couples sleep.
Stripping them of autonomy over their own breasts. The problem with wet nursing is it's a very exploitative custom. Historically, Jacqueline Wolfe, a professor in the Department of Social Medicine at Ohio University, tells Yahoo Life. Wolfe's research focuses on the history of birth and breastfeeding practices in the U.S., and she explains that the early U.S. practice of hiring wet nurses was based on class and imported from the English custom. In the 19th century, wealthier women were thought of as weaker, and it was considered inappropriate for them to overtax themselves by breastfeeding, so poorer rural women were often hired to do the job. But Wolfe says for the women they employed, it was an occupation born of desperation. Women.
Do you hear the word hired and employed?
Yeah, I sure do.
Like, sure, I'll take this job and leave the kid. The reason why I need to work, right? Go on and forget about them. But I'm going to work for them. But I don't even know. I'll see them when I see them, though, right? You can't this that bullshit. Hired and employed. Like, I'm going to make a decision. I ain't going to see the kid, but I guess I'll hold on to the money to like one day I see him. You're like, whatever. But let's go. I just wanted y'all to hear them keywords.
Who worked as wet nurses were desperate, she says. They were almost exclusively single women who had been abandoned by their families because of the shame of being single mothers, or women who were widowed and homeless. Wealthy families would find a wet nurse by posting help-wanted ads in newspapers or through their doctor. The cruel language used in these ads, Wolfe says, paints a picture of just how poorly wet nurses were regarded, with many employers describing them as inherently immoral and as a terrible burden on the families that sheltered them. And doctors were even uglier about how they talked about wet nurses, Wolfe says. One quote was describing wet nurses as 3/4 cow and 1/4 devil.
God damn.
Once they were employed, most wet nurses were forced to part with their own baby. whom they might never see alive again.
That's what I'm saying.
It just was unheard of for an upper-class family, or even an upper-middle-class family, to permit a wet nurse to bring her own baby into the home. Because the thought was, I'm paying you. I want attention paid to my baby, Wolf explains. So the wet nurses had to give their own babies over to foundling homes, and the death rate in the foundling homes was appalling, close to 100%. So literally, the wet nurse would save the life of a wealthy baby at the expense of her own child. This cruel practice also had devastating effects on the health of enslaved children. Black mothers were physically separated from their own newborns to breastfeed their enslavers' babies, sometimes permanently. Legal scholar Andrea Freeman has argued that the stereotype of the bad black mother helped justify this inhumane practice. A key pillar of this idea, she writes, was the racist caricature of the mammy, a black enslaved woman who was, as Enslaved Women in America, an encyclopedia puts it, devoted to mothering white children, but who neglected her own. Little is known of whether the deprivation of black children from their mother's milk at birth affected them negatively or otherwise. However, one of the descendants of these mothers was heard saying that the babies of enslaved wet nurses were bottle-fed a concoction of dry milk and dirty water that was not a healthy alternative to breastfeeding. As a result, many black babies died during slavery, which led to the disruption of the mother-child relationship, creating anguish and guilt for black mothers and distress for their babies. Even when enslaved black women who were not wet nurses breastfed, they did so for far shorter lengths of time than their counterparts in Africa, commonly nursing for only 1 year instead of 2 or 3, because enslavers wanted mothers to take as little time off from labor as possible. After slavery ended, some black women continued to serve as wet nurses for white families, exposing them to further exploitation. Black families faced major economic barriers from centuries of exploitation and discriminatory laws, which forced black women back to work after giving birth, often making breastfeeding impossible. The fact that black women breastfeed less than other mothers has served varying white interests throughout history, Freeman further uncovers. These included making black women available to perform exploitative labor for whites. Infant formula based on evaporated milk became widely endorsed by both parents and physicians in the 1940s. White interests remained the priority. Formula companies targeted black women in their ads, leading to enormous profits for the white-run industry. As Freeman has shown in her book, Skimmed Breastfeeding, Race and Injustice and Other Scholarship, the first black children shown in infant formula advertisements were the Fultz quadruplets, black Cherokee sisters born in 1946, who quickly became famous as the first recorded African-American identical quadruplets. A white doctor, Fred Klenner, delivered them and quickly moved to capitalize on their fame for his own benefit. Among other things, he signed them on as poster children for the St. Louis Pet Milk Company. Klenner's exploitation resulted in a chain of events that cost the Fultz parents custody of the quadruplets, who went on to face poverty, isolation, and early deaths. While formula companies targeted black women with ads featuring black children, the 1950s marked a surge in the popularity of breastfeeding among privileged white women with the rise of breastfeeding organizations such as La Leche League, founded in 1956. These white-led organizations centered their advocacy for breastfeeding on white women, largely excluding black women. Alongside this white-centered breastfeeding movement, popular media began to portray predominantly white women breastfeeding in humanizing images, helping to normalize white mothers breastfeeding. By contrast, Freeman writes, positive images of black women breastfeeding remained virtually non-existent. Magazines such as National Geographic portrayed breastfeeding black women as exotic and savage. This difference in portrayals was built on racist ideas about black mothers that dated to the idea of the mammy. After slavery, as Freeman notes, the mammy character evolved to take many forms from Aunt Jemima, a dehumanizing mascot for syrup that was recently discontinued, to the welfare queen, a figure who, according to Ronald Reagan's rhetoric, reproduced only to game the system by deriving more government benefits. Popular movies and television shows also perpetuated these racist stereotypes of the bad black mother, helping to push black mothers away from breastfeeding because society associated the practice with good white mothers. This stereotype sends messages about Black motherhood that Black women and their families internalize. In addition to media influence, several key pieces of legislation also pressured Black women to formula feed. First, the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, WIC, launched in 1974. Black women were less likely to receive breastfeeding support from WIC compared to white women, implying that WIC staff assumed Black women would formula feed. All the while, the program also offered free formula to low-income women, further incentivizing its adoption. Second, the United States did not sign on to the World Health Organization's International Code of Marketing Breast Milk Substitutes in 1981 because of concerns about the World Health Organization, WHO, becoming involved in U.S. commercial marketing. This refusal enabled formula companies to continue printing and airing unrestricted advertisements, often targeted at Black communities, despite evidence that it hurt women and babies by encouraging mothers to formula feed, sometimes offering free samples, when they could not afford it long term. This led to some mothers feeding their babies inadequate amounts of milk because of lack of funds. Third, the 1996 changes to welfare, fueled by long-standing racist conceptions about welfare, forced new mothers out of the home to...
The trick was, okay, we'll take you away, we'll take your milk, we'll take you away from feeding your own kids, right? And then on top of that, we're gonna make this formula milk. I give your kid after the dirty water, right? After the dirty water. Now the next thing they do is they give you the formula milk, and you get it long enough until your milk dries out, right? So now you gave it to me. It's like they knew how long it'll take before your milk dries up, right? So if your milk dries up and you can't get no formula, what's to happen to your baby? Now you have to buy it. That formula was not for our babies to consume. You see, now they have all types of commercials talking about if your baby took Similac, or I guess that's Infamil.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Infamil. I don't know what I was talking into the
No,
phone.
I got you, baby. I got you. I had to remember the name because it's been a while for us,
to work at a time when workplaces largely lacked breastfeeding accommodation laws. The new law disproportionately affected Black mothers. Black female welfare recipients were less likely to receive benefits under the new law than their white counterparts, and more likely to receive poor treatment from welfare agencies. An urgent need to work encouraged Black mothers to abandon breastfeeding to avoid the difficulties and work-related problems it caused. In 1991, the WHO launched the Baby-Friendly Hospital Initiative to support hospitals in giving new mothers the necessary care and assistance to breastfeed their newborns.
That's just
Medical
91.
officials prioritized hospitals in white neighborhoods for adopting baby-friendly practices, while largely bypassing hospitals in Black neighborhoods. Instead, they pushed Black women to breastfeed less. The racist legacy of coercive wet nursing during slavery has shaped every aspect of this landscape. It has fueled a combination of laws and racist stereotypes that pushed Black mothers away from breastfeeding. The racial wealth gap, which is inextricably intertwined with the economic oppression of Black Americans through laws.
The Federal Reserve Bank of New York just issued a digital dollar, effectively
forces new Black mothers back to work earlier, making it harder for them to breastfeed because of inadequate support from employers.
As you see, when was the women staying home to be mothers? I'll wait. We went from the 1800s to 1991. Ain't that what he said? 91?
Yep.
I don't see us staying home taking care of the children. No women had to get back to what he said, to work. Where the daddies? Not blaming the black man, but I'm at that point in time. But I'm just saying.
And all of this history continues to reverberate today. Freeman writes, the negative effects of forced wet nursing during slavery have endured into the present. Some black women see breastfeeding as a way to take back the nutrients that were stolen from black women to feed black babies, but others refuse to breastfeed as a rejection of racist re-enslavement. Breastfeeding disparities are not the mere result of cultural preferences that education will dismantle. Instead, the racial gap in breastfeeding rates reflects white supremacy. Long-standing laws, policies, and oppressive behaviors created to intentionally uplift white mothers and babies while harming black mothers and babies. With many families scrambling for solutions to the U.S. formula shortage, stories of local women volunteering to serve as wet nurses have popped up around the internet, which raises the question, is wet nursing even a thing anymore? Turns out it is. While the profession of wet nursing is less common today thanks to modern alternatives like formula and breast milk banks, the informal practice of wet nursing, some say, is still alive and well. It just isn't talked about. In the U.S., there have been two main avenues of wet nursing. One, the profession of wet nursing has a long history of abuse and is bound by monetary exchange, or in the case of the antebellum South, the exploitation of enslaved black women who were forced to give their breast milk to white babies. The other form of wet nursing is more informal and takes place between family, friends, or other equals without uneven power dynamics. It's often unpaid and may also be referred to as cross-feeding or cross-nursing. Wet nursing and cross-feeding both involve the breastfeeding of a child by someone other than the mother. Wet nursing involves a woman who is not the social equal of the employer, is never reciprocal, and is normally for payment. Cross-feeding, also cross-nursing,
Payment
is
is your
the
life.
informal sharing of breastfeeding between equals and is usually unpaid and may be reciprocal. Community attitudes in the late 20th and early 21st centuries are distrustful of this practice, though satisfaction is reported by the women involved in sharing breastfeeding. Still, Wolf says, not all early forms of wet nursing were nefarious. With no alternatives to breast milk, shared nursing was common, especially if a baby's mother died in childbirth or while the baby was still nursing. In that era, if a child didn't have access to human milk, the child died, Wolf says. So a lot of women out of generosity, whether they were a neighbor or a relative or a friend, would take a baby whose mother had died if they were lactating and breastfeed the baby
Thank you, Julie.
alongside their own baby.
I appreciate
In closing,
that.
while the act of nurturing another child can be seen as a form of
Thank you,
care,
Julie.
the forced wet nursing of enslaved black women by their enslavers remains a stark reminder of the dehumanization, profound loss, and exploitation embedded in the institution of slavery. While
And it's a shame. They had to take a picture with their kid too. Shit like damn. They throw it all up in my face. I ain't got that one picture with my own kid. Right? I ain't got no picture with my
So
own.
humiliating and inhumane.
Yes. Yes. I'm so
Like, what you going through? I want this picture with my baby so I can remember it. What about the memories that I want to build with my own child? Look at this woman's face.
that's that's so what happens is the pictures, if I'm not mistaken, they are taken because being that when the child get older, right, they'll show them that picture and they make it seem like a loving thing. So that's why you'll hear like a lot of Caucasian men go, oh yeah, my nanny, and they show the picture there to make it seem, and a lot of them, they develop love for the wet nurses, but not knowing how tragic it was for her. They leave that part out. But you hear a lot of Caucasians, they'll go, oh yeah, my nanny, and they'll show them the picture. And sometimes they go back and look for the nannies as they call them. As they call them. Mhm.
Remember Claire's Heart when Whoopi Goldberg did that movie and she was a nanny to the boy?
Which movie?
She was playing a Caribbean woman and she was having some issues and was called Clara's Heart. And he was Clara's Heart, but she had a deep secret and she took him to the Caribbean and ended up coming out that her son basically has some mental issues and baped her because he was going crazy. And I think he offed himself at that point. But the little boy, the little white boy, like he always was with Clara.
I don't.
It's an
I don't.
old movie. It's a good movie. It's an old good
I'm
movie.
trying.
Anybody in the chat
I'm,
remember Claire's
I'm
Heart?
picturing. I'm picturing it, but I don't know if I remember the whole movie. But I do remember of it. But I'm referring to the ones that did it out of force. They told their children they was their nannies, but in all reality,
Right.
they was wet nurses. So that's where a lot of them would have took the pictures for, So we wouldn't hate that child so much, or we wouldn't hate them so much, and that picture would show a connection. Then the child would come back, and of course you connected. That baby was on your nipple for how long?
Right.
So that was to reduce some of the hatred. That's why they
They
all look
was
like
painting the
shit.
picture for the
Shit in it.
future.
Shit. Right. All right. They like shit in it. Oh, she said Clara's Heart was a good movie. Yeah, but they was like, here go to the damn what they like shit in it. But cheese, like no cheese here, damn it. Right? Ain't no damn.
You see her?
I
She looked
tell
like
you,
this damn baby. I'm ready to
that's
go home.
that's how majority of them look like shit in it. Right? Shit in it. And again, this is not about the Caucasian people. This is just about how we were treated and all the despicable things that they spew at us today. Like we did not go through some shit.
And this woman doesn't look like she's old either. She looks like she's tired and she's
Hmm.
tired of the bull crap, but she don't look old.
But a lot of them, as I come to find out, remember that stress to get you. I told you, you got to go somewhere. A lot of them did
Right.
not make it to be old, but we thought they were old. Just like my grandmother, I thought she was old, but come to find out she was not. They were still young. They were still young. So absolutely correct. She could still be in her 20s there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Now, we must get to the children. The children. And yes, it happened to boys too, because they were part of children. The children. But the bad part about it is the father's not there. The mother had to take that on also. Right? Here we go. Guys, then we're gonna finish up with that guy. I wanna I don't want to spoil all your nights. I don't want to spoil all your nights. I want to spoil tear the rest of y'all night, right? With these depictable things. But we as women have to we have to go backwards because we hear this rhetoric bull crap that they're trying to force feed down our mouth. And we listen to these men without doing our own research. We must do our own research as women. Stop listening to these men. Stop listening to these men teachers. Stop. It's a patriarchal system. They're not going to tell you the truth. It's out there. You women don't even want to take the time to even research their own selves. Like just being a woman, they don't even want to take the time and research being a woman. They go by what the man say. Oh, they always start and their major thing is, well, and then the sister separated us, and yeah, they got us out the house. We was a a whole people before that took place. Things done happen, but that's their main argument, right? But if what you're saying is true, then why doesn't you black men have a better work ethic? You can't have one without the other. You cannot have us home in the house
Right.
bearing kids if that was what we have done without the man working. So that means men would have a better work ethic. We would never have went to, as what they say, the food stamps or this. It was a hell of a lot of us. That means it was a oh, and he at that point in time he said 70,000. If y'all heard the name, heard the number, he said 70,000 women.
Hmm.
70,000 in the 1800s. It was 70 damn thousand women that was separated from their children and had to feed around the United States, had to breastfeed Caucasian kids. So at what point in time was we able to stay home and take care of the kids and you worked? Not saying it didn't exist. It did exist, but only for a short period of time. We let these men say the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman, and then they want to tell you is acting, is acting, is acting, and all this bullshit. Instead of let's just tell the truth. Like we ain't taking away nothing that happened to you men. Why are you taking away what happened to us to suit your agenda now? We done had enough. We done had enough. Women, stop it. Stop. Oh, this is my teacher, my Lord, my Christ, whatever you want to call him. Stop. Stop. Baba, my Babaji, my Baba, whatever name, put a name there. Stop. Stop.
Pastor, priest, spiritual advisor, all of it.
That them too. And any other name you could think of. Them too.
And the ultimate, my higher self.
Yeah, and the higher self. Stop. Now it's gonna get more disgusting. Let's go.
Children. Sadly, history reveals that white people committed unspeakable atrocities against black children during the era of slavery. Just when one believes that humanity has reached its lowest point, more details emerge, shedding light on the unimaginable pain endured by black individuals. It's difficult to imagine the depths of suffering endured by black children during slavery. For those uncomfortable with facing the harsh realities of history, refrain from watching the following video. With that said, let's delve into the unspeakable horrors inflicted upon black child
Oh, yeah, that's
slaves.
enough.
The Black History Archives.
Oh yeah. This credit goes out to the Black History Archives.
Forced to eat like animals. Enslaved children, among the most vulnerable members of society, were subjected to harrowing experiences that defied all notions of human decency. One of the most egregious forms of degradation they endured was being forced to consume their meals in ways reminiscent of animals rather than human beings. This systematic dehumanization served to reinforce the brutal narrative of their enslavement, perpetuating a cycle of exploitation and abuse. Imagine the anguish of a child, robbed of their innocence and basic rights, forced to scavenge for sustenance like a stray animal, denied.
And again, I just want to say is boys and girls. We There's no way around it, black man of today. We would not let you take away our all the suffering we have endured. We're not taking away yours, and you damn sure ain't gonna take away ours.
Access to proper nutrition, these children were often given meager scraps or leftovers that others deemed unfit for consumption. These scraps were often inadequate in quantity and nutritional value, condemning these young souls to a life of malnourishment and stunted growth. To compound their suffering, enslaved children were frequently made to eat off the ground or from troughs, further demeaning their humanity and eroding any semblance of dignity they might cling to. This degrading spectacle not only stripped away their physical dignity, but also inflicted deep emotional wounds, leaving scars that would linger long after their shackles were removed. The act of forcing enslaved children to eat like animals served a dual purpose for their oppressors. Not only did it reinforce the notion of their subhuman status, but it also...
And do you notice they got the little kids, which I have seen shows like that. You notice the kids ain't got no clothes on, right? Around a bunch of grown people, right?
Huh?
Yeah, I do notice that, right? And also keep in mind, when the men were separated, the mother had to bear all that. The mother had to bear all of that. And in return, yeah, that's why some mothers, they may call them bad mothers, but all that the woman had to endure. Yeah, they may let the kid stay a little long, baby them a little bit longer, always scared for them, because it's in our blood. It's in our blood. Oh, you doing this to your son? Let it be a minute. Y'all didn't have to sit back and endure this. The women did. We had to watch the children. Look how they look. They bones. They rib cages right now. These are kids.
Nothing but skin and bones.
Look like the skin is almost that's all. The bones is getting ready to protrude through the skin. Shit. So the man did not have to sit there and watch the kids, the woman suffer, nor the kids. That was all left on the woman. Stop letting these men sit up there and tell you to be bad for the pregnant, and that's traditional. Stop it. Learn your history, women. Learn everything you went through.
also serve as a tool of psychological manipulation, instilling a sense of worthlessness and resignation within their young hearts and minds. By depriving them of the most basic aspects of human dignity, slave owners sought to exert absolute control over their victims, ensuring compliance through fear and degradation. Forced to engage in sexual acts. Reflecting on the atrocities of slavery, one cannot escape the harrowing reality that they were cruelly coerced into performing sexual acts by their heartless owners or overseers. This unfathomable exploitation robbed them not only of their physical autonomy, but also shattered their innocence, leaving behind wounds that cut deeper than any physical pain.
Warning, don't believe the AI trading hype until you watch this entire video. Hi, I'm Lane Mendel.
The mere thought of these young souls being thrust into a nightmarish existence, where their bodies were treated as mere commodities to satisfy the depraved desires of their oppressors, fills people with a profound sense of sorrow and anger. How could humanity descend to such depths of cruelty, where the most sacred boundaries of dignity and decency were callously violated? Beyond the physical violation lies a landscape of emotional and psychological devastation, where the scars of trauma run deep and may never fully heal. The betrayal of trust, as those entrusted with their care became their tormentors, inflicted wounds that transcended the confines of their physical bodies, permeating their very souls with a haunting sense of shame and despair. These survivors, burdened with the weight of unspeakable trauma, are forced to navigate a world that often fails to comprehend the depth of their suffering. The wounds of their past continue to shape their present reality, manifesting in crippling anxiety, shattered self-esteem, and an enduring sense of isolation, used as bait or targets for cruel entertainment. Now they encountered the chilling narratives of enslaved children reduced to mere objects of amusement in the twisted games orchestrated by their owners or overseers. These young souls, already shackled by the chains of enslavement, faced a new form of terror as they were thrust into roles meant to entertain the perverse desires of those in power. Here's a reminder to please support us so we can make more videos for you by subscribing to our channel and liking the videos. We want to build a strong community and we need your support.
That's why I said to you guys, remember the children as of 8 or 9 were baked also, right? And them were boys and girls. But after they was finished with them, can you imagine the men are the protectors, but it's not even about that right now because we're talking about the women. Can you imagine there's nothing you can do? See, the men don't have to bear it too much because they removed him. They removed him, right? So the mother has to bear them coming in at night, removing their child. That's why the court is so ghetto now. That's why we be always ready to fight right now. That's all we have ever done. That's all the black woman knows. Because that's all. It ain't like they. It ain't like they said. Well, you know what? Go on ahead. Go on, take my kid. They fought, and they knocked that woman down, slapped her up, gave her some whips, and they had to pry them kids out her hand. Pry them out. She fought with everything, but there's nothing she could do. Nothing she can do. The woman had to bear that. Them taking them in, and then after they finish, and they return back, and them kids are damaged beyond damage because they know what happened to the kids because it happened to them. They know what's going to happen because it happened to them, and they gotta see their kids coming back in the same way they had to come back. So they
Sounds like
know
they
it's
had to clean their kids up. Cause you think them kids just came in the house and nothing was, going on with them where they had to assist them and have them soak or whatever,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They was, of course, they was ripped. You didn't expect for the oppressor to sit up there. Well, you know what? Let me put some warm water. They just left you there. The time you got back in that, like I said, the mother knew what happened because it happened to her. So now again, they had to. I forgot what they used to call it, but they used to make their little concoctions and stuff. Right? They always knew how to make a concoction. They knew how to take this leaf, that leaf, that leaf, boil it up, or whatever. They make their little concoctions because the poor babies were ripped. You got the rice. Even the little boys were ripped, and that's just the physical. They knew they could not fix the mental because they still effed up. And you
Right.
figure, right? So they figuring, I ain't gonna let them do this to mine. I'ma hold them a little bit harder than my mother held me, because they was able to get me out of my mother's arm, and guess what? They got him out your arms too. They live in fear like that all the time. Again, women, please, I beg thee of you, stop going to these gurus that just want to misuse you also. Learn your history. Hey, having kids is beautiful, but it's okay if you don't want none either. just live your life. You don't have to uh oh, this is a rapper, this is an artist, this is a singer. You don't have to have none of that because that comes with this. Don't F off, them FOs, freak off, whatever. It's the same shit, except for it's being done with your own set of people. They doing the same violation. You gonna get look at Cassie now. She wanted that life. She got the same violation. We know Diddy did it, but guess what? It was done to him too. We didn't start that madness. They started them fuck offs. And they passed it on down to us. Y'all think Diddy just made these things up himself?
Absolutely not.
But to get into their world, you had to do what they do. But as you see them fuck offs, they always have fuck offs. I'm sorry, YouTube. Please forgive
And
me.
I feel like also that's a requirement. They have to continue that. Not just that
Yes,
they did
ma'am.
it and initiate it, they got to continue it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's why we see it go on today. That's when you see them brunches. They let us know when they having them, right? They got the secret ones when they go to certain islands, right? And then they got the regular ones. And they sit all of them sitting around there like beasts. And they didn't want to believe that boy. Talking about that boy, but that and Dan was not lying. Even if he was reacting it, it was still the truth with them different damn rooms. And that last room is a freak off. I'm gonna say freak off. Okay, YouTube. That was a freak off. That's something they always been doing. But at least we have the chance now to want no parts of it. But these women, oh, I want that pocketbook. Just like what was they talking about? That African guy, I forgot his name, but he was married to Porsche, whatever her name is. Oh, he bought this girl a Rolls Royce. Oh, he bought that girl a Rolls Royce. Like, stop, huh?
Mm-hmm. The man was running scams.
Yeah, but
But that was
not.
just like Lisa Ray's husband too, the one from Turks and Caicos, running
Yeah, but
scams.
yeah, but let's just say he wasn't running scams. I'm just saying we rush to men that's going to we figure buy us the Rolls Royce, or that's gonna cost you. That's gonna cost you this activity. That's
Look
gonna
what
cost
happened to Janet
you.
Jackson.
You got the right to say no. You got the right to say no. Y'all want the bling bling. Y'all want the diamond rings, the bling bling. Baby, that come with a price if you ain't buy it yourself.
And
If you ain't
nobody
work
was
hard,
getting it.
if you ain't work hard, and if you can't afford it, then hey, it is not meant for you. But if you going
Janet
into
Jackson
their
was over
world,
there.
if you going into their world, as you see, they always did these type of things for what they call entertainment. I try to tell people that, Angela, over and over and over again. I I cannot say that enough.
I agree, Angela.
I've been saying this for 30, 40 years. I've been saying it.
And it's not just, regular, it's everyone, all the women are getting assaulted. I remember going to Janet Jackson concert and just seeing her play out what she had been through when she was married to that man. And it was heartbreaking because nobody and it's crazy because at that time I was getting over, no, I hadn't gone through my abuse yet, but just the knowing that I had been through just I would say narc abuse, but not knowing the name for it as yet. But I could feel the energy coming off the stage.
Yeah, but we have the choice now to really divest, invest in ourselves and divest their asses, but invest in ourselves. 'Cause every which way we turn since we've been in this country. I don't know about what happened to the forefathers before we got here. I don't know. They can tell us things, but I know since we have been nothing but used and abused. We have been nothing but used and abused since day one. Like when is enough, black woman? When is it enough?
I started doing research on my own family history because I wanted to know from like I always go back to my elders and ask them questions. And I remember my mother saying how my grandmother was going to mental institutions. Well, when I started putting one and two together, one and one together and adding up to two, I realized it was my grandfather driving my grandmother crazy, where she was either one uh voluntarily going to the insane asylum, or she was being forced to. Either way, she ended
Well,
up
that it's sad. I think I did a video on that before too. But a lot we weren't crazy. That's when A, we wasn't being submissive. B, we have talked back, when we wasn't in complete and then again we're in a patriarchal system. So that was their way of always threatening us.
yes.
And then they'll put us in there, take us back. So we were never crazy. And they did not drive us crazy neither. That was their farm. The black man has picked up so much of the oppressor ways. These are some of the things they did to us. It's a lot of black women went through that. So when they come home, they could be the person.
They were doing lobotomies on these women for that.
Girl, they used to have us in chastity belts. Like I said, whatever you
I
can
know.
name, whatever you can, it's sad. Whatever you can name was done to us, right? And they used to have
Was
them
giving
things.
us Zofane to calm us down because they told us we was out of control.
Bravo has played out. They do anything for the ratings. No, I wasn't talking about the storyline. I was just saying how women so happy to get the wannabe Rolls Royce or the wannabe cars or the wannabe something from these men, not knowing that comes with the price. That's just the point I'm saying. I don't really watch them anyway, so good for them, right? But I'm just saying women are chasing these quote unquote high value men or quote unquote men with money, right? Or these entertainers. They're lining
Right.
themselves up wanting to be chosen. They're degrading themselves, not knowing that these men going to degrade you even more. Whatever you're doing that you think
Yep.
you degrading yourself, baby, is nothing compared to what he's gonna make you do.
It's amplified 100 times that.
And even if you get chosen to be the wife, it ain't gonna be for long. And you still gotta participate in freak offs, even though you are a wife. They didn't
Yep.
tell you that part neither. You still got to participate in these
Uh-huh.
things because they are rich. The devil told them, oh, the devil told them, hey, you can have all your fantasies. You can do whatever you want. I'm granting you these things. You don't know, you not no, don't have no one woman. So, and then women got to stay on home. Yeah, they got all these everything they
Yeah,
wanted.
remember
No
Montel Jordan?
love.
You remember Montel Jordan? Him, and a lot of them had to keep their marriages secret, and that basically gave them a window to go and cheat. And a lot, Dave Hollister too, have made this testimony and said that they made him keep his marriages secret, and that gave him an avenue to go and do what he was gonna do.
They was, even if they didn't. I remember them stories though.
Correct.
But even who, these girls don't even care if you got a wife. Well, these days they don't care shit. They like, and
No, I've watched some of the older entertainers on Unsung and their wives saying, I knew he had them women, but when I came into the picture, they had to back up. But I knew what he did when he was out on the road. Them women knew even back in the
and
60s.
and she lying. And she lying. She sat there and had to participate. She want to keep whatever little.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
no, no, and no. Mm-mm, no. They only got mad when when they was figuring I have to split some of this money if he have another baby. But they was all
That
coked
would
up
be
together.
accurate.
They were all coked up doing it together. They always
Because
brought the
that's
next
usually
lady home, and then
the deal breaker, the baby.
mhm. And not because it's a baby, because I got to get this kid get part of my inheritance. I've been through all of it, but even who, let's carry her. And ain't no tradition, and ain't no such thing as a traditional wife. As we are learning history, like we'll watch history, then we will forget we watched it, and we'll go back to saying traditional wife and what we supposed. I mean, didn't y'all just watch history? Like, don't. Well, it was not. It didn't exist. I ain't seen no video yet where it exists. Show me. I've been putting these type of videos out here for like 4 or 5 years now. Show me where it existed. I told you it only existed for a short period of time. And that's when they had the middle class. And the men were still cheating. Because even when the men settled or stayed with the women back after slavery was over, it wasn't because he wanted to be the man of the house. They didn't have no goddamn where to go. Right? They had nowhere to go. We might as well be. And they had all these kids, and then like either one of them wanted to be there. So that wasn't even traditional. They was forced. Then you went through the period where as they went out there, mama told them to close their legs. And back in them days, you couldn't bring no bastard kid home. You had to be married. So then after that stage, you got the oh crap. Oh, she knocked up. Then shotgun wedding, here we come. So it was always a reason.
Baby, that's what happened to my parents because my grandmother was like, go out there and wring that chicken's neck and bring it in here. My mama threw up. She said, oh no, time for you to get married. And my mother said she was not trying to marry my father. And she had me when she was 16. I mean, she got pregnant when she was 15.
You got that right. But I mean, they can talk about the feminism all they want. But women, who cares? Like, why do we care that they said, oh, feminism? Ninja, if we do this feminism, you mad because something benefited us and not you? They took some of your control away. Why are y'all women mad when they throw feminism in our face? Like, it's nothing but giving us rights. That's all feminism is. Giving us rights. And it's not even equal rights. People forget when we was fighting to vote and them churches were burned, them babies was burnt, we was sprayed by them water holes, dogs was sicked on us. They keep saying for the black people to vote. No, that was for the black man to vote, not the black woman. We have always put our lives up for, that's all we know how to do. So they were able to vote, not us. And like we stood on the side and said, hey, well, get them Caucasian men. They the ones, because the white woman couldn't vote neither.
Right.
The white women couldn't vote neither. Women could not vote, period. So you miss me with the feminism part, like we supposed to feel bad that we got rights. Not even, we still don't have equal rights, but at least we got some rights. So if y'all mad, y'all gonna stay mad. But that took away from y'all with being with the black man because y'all wanted to go with the white women with the feminism. Well, y'all wasn't fighting for nothing for us. We fought for things for you, but y'all didn't fight for nothing for us. Y'all didn't fight for us to vote.
Nope.
Y'all didn't fight for us. We was forced to
My
work.
understanding, wasn't it white and black women that had to get together and
Yes,
fight
ma'am.
for vote?
Yes, ma'am. So people be like, "Oh, you are no." We had to band with them. We hadn't. We women itself had no rights, but they didn't get beat up and abused for their men to vote. We got beat up, lost kids, and everything for the black man to vote. Even we got beat up just so y'all could walk with your head up high. At one point, y'all black men had to walk with your head down because you was hung if they thought you looked at the Caucasian woman. You were hung.
Yep.
Just so you can walk with your head up. We suffered with you. And we are supposed to really care about you thinking or you assuming, or even if it's totally accurate, it doesn't matter. Pick anyone you want. That we wanted rights as a woman. You mad because, oh no, and that brought you out the house, and now you want to work. And this ninja we been was working. What the fuck is you talking about? When we was working. That didn't tear up the black family, feminism. If anything, y'all benefited. Because where y'all slack, now we able to work. Because y'all wasn't bringing home no money. We was already head of the household, damn it. We got tired of our foremothers and got tired of sitting in the dark house. The electricity wasn't paid. We got tired of opening a refrigerator with nothing in it. Kids' stomach is bubbling, waiting for you to bring home some money. But then again, y'all was taught to be husbands, so y'all got the best work ethic ever, right? But y'all got fired every time. You got fired. You were drunk. You were wasted. You're on the corner. You at bars. You doing everything but bringing the money home.
And then you come home and beat on us for that.
Mm-hmm. We have to really not care. We really have to. We got to stop listening to these red pills and them. We have to break from that. I know we don't. We don't do that. But we got to pass the message, right? Pass the message. Mothers, start showing your daughters the history of what women. Start showing them these things. You have no excuse now. You have no excuse. That computer that you have in your house, put your TV. You got, matter of fact, you got it on your TV. Show them it's here. Show it to them. So anytime these men come up in their face and talk this bullshit, they will already know the truth. We know things as we see happen to our little young boys too. We got to show them too. Mama had to go through that with you. Respect your mother. Respect women. They can't respect us, and they don't want to respect us because we don't want to tell them the truth. Men don't want to tell them the truth of what happened to them too. But again, they didn't have to
Right.
endure it. The mother did.
I had a guy tell me one time, I've never seen my grandmother cry. I said, that don't mean she didn't cry. She may not have let you see it, but grandma sure shed some tears, especially in her prayer closet. What you talking
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Damn, Angela. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, but that's what. But again, they didn't have, like I said, this is not the blame game. It's just that we have to absorb the truth. And a lot of men also, again, they wasn't trained to be husbands because all they go around sleeping with a bunch of women because they was doing this in slavery, right? They still have hormones, and even though they was taken away from one woman, they went to the next plantation, got another woman, and then another woman, and another woman, and then they was a stallions on top of that. So they used to going into different JJs. They is they could just poo go just like that. Well, let's carry on.
You now. Picture the profound sense of betrayal and dread gripping these tender hearts as they were forced into the difficult position of bait, their very lives hanging in precarious balance while awaiting the savage onslaught of dogs or other instruments of cruelty. Their suffering, intended to elicit amusement from their oppressors, echoes with the piercing cries of innocence violated. The psychological wounds inflicted by such barbarity are profound and enduring. To be reduced to disposable objects of entertainment, stripped of all dignity and humanity, leaves scars that run deeper than any physical injury. Moreover, the trauma endured in these harrowing experiences lingers long after the immediate threat has passed, shaping the survivor's perceptions and sense of self in ways that defy comprehension for those untouched by such horrors. Confronting the grim reality of enslaved children used as bait or targets for cruel entertainment forces us to confront humanity's darkest impulses and the lasting legacy of suffering it leaves in its wake. It serves as a poignant reminder of the imperative to dismantle systems of oppression and ensure that the injustices, branded or marked to denote ownership, in the cruel machinery of slavery, the practice of branding or marking enslaved children with searing irons stood as a grim testament to their status as mere property owned and controlled by others. This barbaric ritual inflicted not only physical agony, but also served as a chilling symbol of their dehumanization, reinforcing the insidious notion that their lives were subject to the whims of their masters. Imagine the searing pain and anguish endured by these young souls as the heated iron seared their flesh, leaving behind permanent scars that bore witness to their subjugation. Each mark served as a stark reminder of their powerlessness, branding their very humanity in the eyes of their oppressors. Again, the psychological impact of such branding cannot be overstated. It not only inflicted immediate trauma, but also perpetuated a cycle of psychological torment, instilling a profound sense of worthlessness and eroding any semblance of self-worth. Moreover, the branded marks became a visible manifestation of the oppressive system that sought to strip away their dignity and autonomy, serving as a constant reminder of their status as chattel to be bought, sold, and discarded at will. Forced to witness or participate in violence,
Hey, Martin.
enslaved children were tragically thrust into the horrifying spectacle of violence, often forced to bear witness to or even participate in acts of brutality inflicted upon their fellow captives. Whether subjected to beatings, lynchings, or other forms of punishment, they were immersed in a culture of cruelty from a tender age, where violence became a normalized aspect of their existence. We can't even imagine the profound psychological impact of such experiences on these young souls.
But hold up now. Let's not forget they considered us three-fourths of a human, right? And on top of that, they considered us monkeys. And on top of that, we became The kids became their pets. They literally put like a dog chain around these kids. And they playing with another human being like they are a fucking pet or a damn doll. Now, depending on the child, right? The only good part about that, but it's bad at the same time, being that they were educated and being that I was your pet for so long, they started teaching the younger slave kids how to read, right? That would be the good part. But the bad part is you couldn't let nobody know you could read. That's a terrible one for you.
That's the conundrum. That's a double-edged sword.
Oh my gosh. But, they're thinking, they're teaching their pet or whatever. But that's how some of us learned how to read. If we were chosen to be the pet, right? Or the play toy, right? The person who served the kids and dressed them and stuff. So as they was doing it, well, this is an A. So in return, the slave child, when she was able to go home, she was the one that was communicating and showing the parents, brought that back to the parents. But again, you can't let them know that you can read, right? But in a sense, that was some of our first dose of education by being a freaking pet, right? A pet. And then, that's when they had us going to church and they claimed that we should be able to read just so we can read the Bible. So thank goodness for the Bible that these people say they don't believe in and all that other stuff. But thanks to that Bible, that was the reason why we was able to learn how to read. Okay.
Right.
So it got to be a God.
Because a lot of our big mom, exactly, and a lot of our big mamas and papas did not know how to read but that Bible. They didn't know, all they did was that X to put their signature, but they knew that Bible inside and out.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was God figured, hey, I got to figure out a way for them to read, and He put it in their souls, right? He put it there, even though we are under captivity anyway. We put ourselves there, and we don't want to seem to come out of there. But that if you was just so happened to be chosen as a pet, that's where that was with some of the education that they got, right? And then a lot of times when the slave master, when he came in to either grab the mother or the child, and sometime by mistake they found the book and they tore them slaves up like they went and got the book. Oh, you can read? What this book doing in here? And then, oh, you stole such book or whatever. But it wasn't a good thing. But that was a lot of our entry to reading because they taught them this is a B, say buh, So it was good. That was the good part of being a pet when you got older. But when you was younger, being a pet, you was treated literally like a damn pet. They pat you on your head, throw like how you throw something at your dog. They throw stuff at you and shit.
On display.
But as you remained the pet and you got older, like I said, depending on the child, because they are still kids too, some of them kids had a heart. And after they got to the age where, no, I can't crawl on the goddamn floor no damn more, and you got to take this damn thing off my neck. You can't pull me around no more. They did develop, the kids did develop a friendship with the black child, the black pet, if they had a good heart. Some stayed nasty, but some did have a good heart. And what? Let's teach you how to read. Or sometime if they the father was out, always gone, they'll let like their pet at their time try on their clothes and spray the perfume. That's if they had a good heart. Some of them did. Some, because they're still kids, had a good heart, right? So they'll let the slave kid do little things while why? Remember, the mother is the black mother is the one that's watching them while they're out. So that's when the kid was able to try on their clothes and, look in the mirror and feel good for a couple of seconds, right? So can you imagine the feeling that you got to have, even though they did have a heart, but in the beginning they didn't have a heart? Like, I take that pet right there, that one right there. Imagine how your emotions got to go from being a pet to now we cool, right? That do something to you psychologically also. That mess with your psyche too. Like we friends, oh, okay. And what you gonna do? But it is what it is.
Forced to confront the darkest aspects of humanity with little understanding or recourse. The trauma inflicted by witnessing or participating in violence left indelible scars, shaping their perception of themselves and the world around them in ways that defy comprehension. Moreover, the normalization of violence within the institution of slavery served to perpetuate a cycle of cruelty, where the dehumanization of one individual became a prelude to the suffering of many. By compelling enslaved children to witness or participate in acts of violence, slave owners sought to assert their dominance and instill fear, further cementing their control over their captive population. Subjected to psychological manipulation and control, enslaved children were cruelly subjected to many psychological tactics wielded by their oppressors to maintain control. Through a sinister combination of threats, intimidation, and gaslighting, their fragile sense of self-worth and agency was systematically eroded, perpetuating their subjugation and reinforcing the power dynamics of their captivity. From a young age, these vulnerable souls were made to question their worth and autonomy, their minds entangled in a web of fear and uncertainty spun by those who sought to dominate them. It left scars that ran far deeper than any physical injury, shaping the very core of their being and distorting their perception of reality. Under the constant threat of punishment and retribution, they learned to internalize their oppression, their spirits gradually worn down by the relentless pressure to comply with their oppressors' demands. Moreover, the normalization of psychological manipulation within the institution of slavery served to perpetuate a cycle of control, where the minds of the enslaved became battlegrounds for their masters' dominance. By systematically undermining their sense of self-worth and agency, slave owners sought to maintain their grip on power, ensuring that rebellion and resistance remained a distant dream for those held in chains. Exposure to disease and illness. Enslaved children endured not only the physical toil and psychological torment of slavery, but also faced the grim reality of widespread disease and illness. Locked in cramped and unsanitary living conditions, often deprived of proper health care, they were constantly at the mercy of epidemics and endemic diseases that swept through slave communities with deadly force. Their lives were constantly struggling against the invisible threats lurking in their environment. Imagine the fear that gripped their hearts as they watched their peers succumb to sickness, knowing that they too could be next. From common ailments like dysentery and respiratory infections to more deadly diseases like smallpox and malaria, every day was a battle for survival against forces they could neither see nor control. Living under the shadow of constant sickness took a heavy toll on their mental well-being, instilling a sense of dread and hopelessness that weighed heavily on their young minds. It robbed them of the carefree innocence of childhood, replacing it with a grim awareness of their mortality. Moreover, the lack of access to proper medical care meant that even minor illnesses could quickly spiral into life-threatening conditions. With no one to turn to for help, they suffered in silence, their bodies ravaged by sickness while their spirits were crushed under the weight of their suffering. But this is not it. It's just a few things the innocent souls had to go through. Have you ever studied this in school? Why is the white man still hiding this from you? Let us know in the comments section. These people who can't stop themselves from talking about human rights.
Ooh, Lordy. Ooh.
Mm-mm-mm. Them poor babies went through so
Hmm.
much.
Y'all know we're gonna have to get a music break, right? Y'all know we're gonna get a music break right now, right? My God.
Yes,
And
yes.
I,
Much
I
needed.
and people were like, and I really don't like it when people go, but why you gotta keep showing this? Because it's when you're not supposed to never stop showing it. It just keep bringing stuff back up. Why they keep coming with these slave movies as they should? Because it's old to us, but it's new. It's new eyes who don't know. You
And
don't
as
tell
much as they
nobody
try
else
to
that.
erase it, yeah, and as much as they trying to be erasing it, you need to keep implementing it and showing it.
Crazy. Why they keep put every time they turn around is a slave movie, and as it should be. Because obviously y'all women didn't get the memo. Because then you would know that we was always the head of the household. We was always single mamas. So obviously you're not getting the memo. For all the people who seen that already, you didn't get the memo. They told you be traditional women. We gotta be barefoot and pregnant, and that's what we stayed barefoot and pregnant. But it came with us being we still was single. Then you was breeded. Then you was forced to have kids just for your milk, just for your milk. Ain't that some shit? I gotta sit up there and have XEX and have a kid just because you want milk. So a whole child is born just so you can have milk. So obviously, y'all not watching the slave shows that y'all keep claiming that they keep showing us. Y'all didn't get the memo, have you? So stop it for what? You ain't getting the memo. You wouldn't be following these men still doing these things if you've been watching them slave shows. You wouldn't be learning from them and praising them and calling them God and all the rest of the stuff that these black men is trying to do to you. We already know what the Caucasian men have done, but it's telling you through history what the black man has not done. That what they're trying to say they have done. Because they don't want to face the fact of the things that happened to them also. Then you will stop with the, oh, it's your fault, it's your fault. And the minute they start saying because the black women, we should leave them talking to themselves. We don't have to argue back and forth. Didn't y'all all say we seen all the slave movies? So why are we going back and forth with our own black folk? Why are we going back and forth? Why? So stop the movies. Y'all didn't get the message since Roots, and they even had slave movies that was in black and white before Roots. They had one. Look what happened to Uncle Ben or something. That's the move. That one right there, boy. I played a clip of that sucker. A clip of it. Baby, they took that video down so quick, make your head spin. You hear me? You heard. You heard.
You heard me?
I played a clip of that. They were like, no, 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 no. Zoop. Video non-available. Video. Like, God damn it. So like, whoa, I just showed a piece of it. Non-available. You can still find it. You just can't share it or nothing like that. They make you gotta go look for that yourself. You cannot share it or talk about it or nothing because it's taking it right down. I'm like, why you taking it off? You got it. I got it from YouTube. How you gonna take it from me? Right? They do what they do. Right? They do what they do. But that's that bullshit.
Yeah, that's when they gotta flex their power and
Yeah,
let
that's
you know
that.
whose
Yeah.
platform it is.
Like, that's that bullshit. But evil, we're not getting the memo. We in 2024 You have these mammies, the black man and the black men and the black women this and the black women that and black. Why again? Then you need to watch some slave shows over again. What are you not seeing? You're not seeing that no, they was not head of the household. You're not really looking at it. You're too busy looking at your oppressor, and you're not looking at the dynamics, the family dynamics. We had none. You're not looking at every single thing that was done to you, black woman. Don't you think you deserve a break? Don't you think you deserve some peace?
I know I do.
Even if the birth rate go down, it's okay. It's gonna be a war, baby. Unless you is really good and because the stuff they sending out to you, we're gonna breathe it anyway, right? You ain't this war. It ain't gonna be the type of war you thinking where you gotta have your pop. They're not having them type of wars no more. They dropping drones and poof, there you go, right? they getting you the scientific type of way.
Absolutely.
Ain't no more straps and boots and stuff. Boots and straps. Ain't no. But we need time to gather ourselves. It's okay to be single. Stop letting them think that you is gonna be lonely. Listen, as we see in the slavery movie, we was lonely a long time. We was all right. We all right now. They didn't long for no men back then because they already knew the men could not protect them. They knew that. If you watch the slavery shows that you say don't watch no more, you knew the men could not protect you. So we didn't long for them. Grandma, great grandma, great grandma, whichever. Just put the foremothers. They didn't because every time a man came around, all she got was abuse. If it was a white man, she got
Yep.
abused. Was a
Or a
black
black
man, she
man.
got abused. So we should be doing what they wanted to do. And that's just woosah, right? Just no kids in the house. They sick with us. All we do is we're sick of being breeders. And they tell you, oh, so the men can have a line. The men is not the one who just have a line. 50% of that line is ours. Okay? It's not just his. It ain't his bloodline. It's our bloodline too. They keep
Together.
making, yeah. They always say, "Oh, an heir in the bloodline." Like, nah, ninja. That's my DNA going to that kid too. Your DNA may not be worth nothing. What if my forefather's DNA stronger than your DNA, and that child get everything from me, right? But even who's not just your blood, it's the mother's bloodline. Because we was used to being single anyway. So the bloodline was really ours. We the one seeing the kids, even till today. We the ones spend the most time with the kids, the grandkids, the great grandkids. We're the ones having the birthday parties, the picnics, and everything else. We're the ones in our grandchildren's lives on the regular. Unlike the father see them when they see them, if they're not, if they're not together. But we really need to do what our foremothers could not do. Just be left the fuck alone. Leave us alone for a little bit.
Let the church say amen on that.
Jesus Christ. This dude, they went through all that. We should say, you know what, we're gonna definitely keep our legs closed. She did close. Can I have that chastity belt back? Please lock it up. Just put the slit there so I can use the bathroom. No, you can't get at this bitch. No, sorry. No. Shoot. And it's a shame. Imagine having a bunch of unwanted kids, and just to say it like that don't sound right. But technically that's what it was, but you still love them because they come from you, but you ain't choose the man, you ain't choose the father, or you
Right. Ain't
had
build no
kids
bond with the
just for
father.
milk, right? Exactly. Or I had to get knocked up because you want my milk, right? So you don't call some,
Right.
right? They didn't ask for none of this. That's why I don't argue with men. I don't argue with them. I don't try to convince them. I do nothing. I don't even try to prove a point because I noticed that it's a one-way street. They already come with the adjective. So keep your adjective. Women, just go on with your life. We ain't gotta say nothing. Leave them there. You ain't gotta tell them off. You ain't gotta say nothing. Leave their ass right there. They come. They got a motive. They don't like you. So nothing you say anyway will matter. They don't like you. They don't respect you. You're not going to make them respect you, but they will respect your silence. They will respect your absence. That's one thing they will respect.
Absolutely. If you won't give me my respect, I'll take it with the silence of my presence. The absence of my presence and the silence of my voice, I shall say.
Let the church say amen. Now that we definitely have to put on some music now because oh Jesus.
There's no one like me. Look in the mirror, I'm all I see. Can't be nobody else, just gotta be me. I don't pretend, I can't pretend. What you get is what you see. I love all me, that's all I can be. Just me. No imitations, no faking, just my own creation. Originality in all my steps, no need for complication. I shine bright, no need for any embellishment. I love all of me, that's my only sentiment. I'm just me, can't be nobody else but me. The world can try to change me, but I'll always be free. I love all of me, my uniqueness is the key. No one else can be me, just me. Just me. No imitations, no faking, just my own creation. Originality in all my steps, no need for complication. I shine bright, no need for any embellishment. I love all of me, that's my only sentiment. I'm just me, can't be nobody else but me. The world can try to change me, but I'll always be free. I love all of me, my uniqueness is the key. No one else can be me, just me. Life is a journey, stumble and fall. No matter how big or small, they've seen your setbacks, but it's about to come back. Feels like the end, but it's just a jump start. Tough times may knock you down, that's a fact, but you rise like a phoenix from the ashes, back on track. Never give up, keep pushing through the pain. You're stronger than you know. Break the chains. This is the comeback. Rise up from fall. Stand tall. Show 'em all. No matter what they say, you can't be shaken. It's your time to shine. No more faking.
Now we shall finish with my man from yesterday. Now it's not in the same spot because it went back to the beginning, so I fast over it, but I don't know where it's at. So don't forget, I'm going to be skipping through a lot of this because it's long, right? So let's go.
Concern, but
ableism isn't a huge concern.
I said I don't really see it as concern.
You don't see ableism with that. Hold on. You don't see ableism as a huge concern?
No, I don't see it as a huge concern.
Okay.
I mean, you can elaborate. Maybe I'm ignorant to the fact that ableism is a bigger issue than I think. You can definitely tell me about it.
It is a huge issue.
Okay.
Do you not know what do home? Look at who is on the street. Wow, this is crazy. I don't even this rabbit hole is too this rabbit hole is so deep. Who makes up the largest demographic of unhoused people?
Homeless people.
I mean, they're the same people. And why what is the number one reason why people are homeless? What do they have in common? What are the number one thing that they have in common?
Mental health issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ableism is a problem. Ableism is a problem, brother.
No, it's fine because I didn't think of that as ableism. I was thinking more, physical aspects of ableism. I wasn't thinking mental. So okay,
a lot of people on the streets are physically unable too.
Yeah, but I also think there's a lot of resources for those people too. So that's
there's not.
There's oh, I mean, it depends on where you're at.
There's not a lot of resources for those people. There's nowhere for them to go. They wouldn't be on the street if there was all these reasons.
Well, as someone who has worked in these sanctioned cities, that's not always 100% true.
Sanctioned cities.
Yeah, sanctioned cities. There are cities that were very, very big on supporting the homeless and how and mental health. They have a lot of resources and stuff like that. They have housing shelters. They have a lot of things that they do. So I mean,
he lying. It's only but so many beds. It's only but so many beds. He lying.
Quick question.
My uncle worked at a homeless shelter, and that is correct, Sugar.
You vote for Donald Trump?
So funny. No, I don't actually vote.
That's a 25-year-old Lakeisha, if you remember.
But I thought he was funny. But no, I didn't vote for him. The last time I actually voted was with Barack Obama, which that's another conversation.
A lot of people voted for Barack Obama. Yeah. A lot of people voted for Trump, voted for Barack Obama too.
Yeah, believe it or not. I didn't know anything about politics at the time. So
you were blessed. That sound like you still don't, brother. Keep it a bean with you.
Operating the gray.
You operating the gray. Wow, man. This is crazy. All right. Yeah, okay. Y'all different today. Hey man, let's keep banging it. Let's keep tapping the live. Let's keep tapping it up. Let's get that thing up there a little bit. Bang the Cash App one time. Are you not entertained? Oh man, hold on. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm gonna need y'all to help me out on this one. What up, Chad?
What's good, public?
I'm chilling, fam. What's good with it, broski?
Not much. Hey,
this Kevin, this Kev, fake brother, little brother.
I agree with it. It's true because your topics don't even be requiring all that people are doing. Like,
shit don't
like
even
they be doing way too much. It don't take all of that. Men are at the core of everything.
It's glazing time.
Like, because
LJ, please go ahead.
It don't even make sense. Look, listen, it's simple. Men are at the core of everything on the world because when you are a leader, because men have been the leaders so far. So as a leader, as a man, you have to take the good with the.
I ain't see y'all be no damn leaders.
The good with the bad. Hold on.
Not from the history we've been watching.
Where?
Yeah, you good? Yeah, you good.
Okay, yeah. So when a company files bankruptcy, you blame the CEO. You don't blame the cashiers. So if men have been the CEO of humanity since the beginning of time, you got to take the bad with the good. So we want to take credit for all the good shit. So you got to take credit with all the bad shit. And it's like people act like it's so like it's hurting them personally. Like I don't get why they make it so personal. Motherfucker, if you want to take credit for all the good shit, they want to say, man, we run the world, we create shit, we're responsible for all. Okay. And then we got to take credit for the bad shit too. What you do is you try and make sure that your good shit outweigh your bad shit. That's it. Like, I ain't got no problem with this prompt because I have no problem when it's like, how can you have a issue with this prompt but you don't have an issue when people talk about all the good things that men are taking credit for? You know what I'm saying? That's part of being a leader. You got to take the bad with the good. It's simple.
I be feeling like a lot of these dudes, when that Beyonce song "Who Run the World" girls come on, y'all be going, "Who run the world, boys?" Who, like, y'all really, like, y'all be different with this shit, man. Like, y'all really be wanting to, y'all like saying that shit to yourselves. Like, y'all like saying, like, you gotta like get y'all put that shit on in your room. Y'all be dancing like a motherfucker to it and shit, stepping real hard. Y'all like saying that shit. It feel good to say it, right? Because you don't have no real power in your day-to-day life, more than likely, or you feel like you don't. You actually have a lot of power in your day-to-day life, but you don't have any real power like over society where you could like wave a magic wand and, like, you know what I'm saying, make things happen or whatever. So you just, you got to get in your room and argue with Beyonce. When she say girls, they be like, "No, boys." Like, y'all.
Bitches like they've got no problem accepting all the good shit. If you want to take credit for the good shit, take credit with the bad shit, and that's just what it is. Like, why do everybody internalize it and make things so personal and come up with all these abstract answers to simple questions? It's not.
I got the answer because if you accept it, then you have to accept your role in it, and then you should have to address it, and you should change. So if you keep ignoring that it's the truth, then you never have to actually look at yourself in the mirror. You never have to, practice that scary word that men hate, that men love to say about everybody else but don't like to do, is accountability. They hate that. Oh man, I hear accountability from men all the time, but they be the motherfuckers who don't know what the definition of any word means, right? Let alone accountability, right? So that's the problem. That's what it is. That's all it is at the end of the day. They just want to keep going. They want to keep spinning it around and around and around, and that's why the unlikely will come up here and say, "Well, it's everybody, it's society, it's if it's all of us, we can't fix it. We need everybody to fix it. Women, you fix." Like, that's all it is. It's
exactly. But what they don't understand is they're really digging their own grave and saying how they're useless. Because if you cannot, so let's say all the problems are women's fault, or everybody else's fault. None of the problems are men's fault. Okay, so all the problems are women's fault. Well, that means that if all the problems are theirs, then they can correct all the problems. They can fix everything. So then why do we need men then? Like, if they can fix all the shit, then why the fuck? It's like they're really building a case for themselves to be obsolete. They're wiping themselves out the picture. No, if this is my shit,
that's right,
and I created this shit right here, then I'm gonna be the one to fix this shit. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm still part of this picture. But when you say, "Oh, it ain't none of our problem," it's like men hold no fault in this shit. Then
that's what I was saying, because they would be forced to have to tell the truth.
Right.
They will be forced to say, "Hey, I was abused," or "I was touched." Right? They will be forced, to tell all the psychological trauma that they've been through and why they effed up. You could not be a leader and effed up at the same time. So you have to.
What's so sad?
Hold on. You got to take away the fact that y'all been traumatized and effed up. You got to pick a side. If I say we've been traumatized and effed up, then you cannot be a leader at the same time. Now, go ahead, baby.
What's so sad is they will poke and prod us to give up our trauma and then weaponize it against us, but yet secretly they're dealing with their own trauma and taking it out on us.
Correct. They because they have to be the leader. It doesn't go together, right? Or if 1 minute it's the system. When wasn't it the system? It's always been the system. That's how we got here, right? They didn't bring us here to treat us good. So you can't keep saying, you can't put in, when it comes for a certain period of time, blame it on the system. It's always been the system. So, but they have to insert themselves as being breadwinners, the leaders. What that haven't been that long, okay? It haven't been that long. So you can't no. You got to say we ain't have nothing, but they don't want to tell the truth. They don't want to say, hey, thanks to these strong ass women, we are here. Because it wasn't because the men were strong, it's because the women were strong. Remember, y'all were taken away. We
Right.
had to deal with more psychological trauma than them. And we had to keep them cheering. Even today, you can say what you want about the single mother. You can call her good, bad, ugly, 3 or 4. That she could be the worst, but guess what? She's still there. Y'all gone. She's still there. Even if she traumatized her kids or whatever, you wasn't there to make sure that she didn't traumatize them. So
And
instead
that's
of
the fact,
saying,
yeah.
right, instead of saying we don't have good work ethics, we are bums, right? But and you could blame that on the system. You really can, because they after we built this place, y'all were forced to. So for you to get up, they had to whip your ass, literally whip you. You didn't get up on your own. And once they removed that whip and stuff was built, y'all, for some reason, the work ethic went away when you wasn't whipped to do it. The women was out there. I don't care, pick any old video, pick any slave video. Women never caught a break. We couldn't run away from nothing. At least y'all was able to run away. We couldn't run away. Because we had to take all them children with us. We did have some strong men, but the reason why a lot of you guys are here today is because of women. And it wasn't in a good way. Even if you was one of the children, what if the reason you got here was because of wet nurse? Remember, they had to make these babies and they didn't see them no more. She still had to bear the baby.
Right.
Even if a lot of y'all got here by babe, right? We don't know how we got to where we at right now, but we do
And a
know the
lot of these
things that
women,
occurred.
a lot of these women didn't even see their children anymore after they gave birth to them.
Right. But they had to be some strong women to do that. And the women that they were left with had to now raise their kids and hers.
Yep.
So whoever kept the kid, the other slave that kept the kid that wasn't chosen to be a wet nurse, now she had a big old house full. And all them kids had to eat. They didn't leave them with a good
Yep.
family. They left with another
Nope.
female slave. The only way we really women, yes, we gonna have to do better as people. And the only way to change this dynamic is we have to separate for a while. We have to. We have to do things our foremothers could not do. Again, that is just to be by our fucking self. All we know is chaos. Chaos, chaos. All we know how to do is raise Sharon. All we have to do is cook and clean. We owe it to our foremothers to do something they was never able to do. Come into a quiet house, take a nice relaxing bath. You know,
Yes.
to just could just get no orders. Don't have she can cook when she wants, get up when she wants, work, get an education, could just hang out with the girlfriends, just be free. We even though some women took it to the extreme, but they still dealing with men. So 304s are still not even free because they still dealing with men. So they
Yeah.
still stuff for men. I mean, not doing nothing for a man. We need to take some time and do that. And it's sad. It's sad. A lot of women don't experience that until their husband. If the husband go first, till the husband pass away. That's when
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these older women, they start looking young.
Yep, refreshed because their vitality has come back now. They ain't got the vampire sucking from them.
Mm-hmm. 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 Now
I
all
had
of
a
a sudden,
client. She was 95 years old. She told me, baby, a man will give you everything except his heart. He'll give you all his money, but his heart, he'll guard that like it was his money.
mm-hmm.
And she
And
was
what
95 years old. And it took me cleaning for her granddaughter and cleaning for her to ask her if I can pray for her. Do you know that woman husband was dead and gone? And he had forbid her when they were married to pray to God. And it wasn't until I came into her life that she was able to let me pray for her. And she was 95 at that time. She praying for her took at least 10, 15 years. Gave her 10 to 15 years back. Every time I would pray, she would look more and more vibrant and would be in her studio painting and stuff.
mm-hmm.
And this lady is rich and couldn't even
Yeah,
pray to her own God.
yeah. And then they get the all the little habits that they wanted to do, and including painting. Just it may look little, but it's big for somebody who's never able to do it. When you sit in the house was quiet, and the kids are grown and they on their own. You know what? They find other old friends because whomever their friends are still living, they either start rolling with them or they find a or they be or they be finding them like them little places where the older
Mhm.
folks go. They
Yeah,
got their
they go to
music.
be
They
with
got
them
their
together,
music. They
baby.
got the music playing, girl. They be getting down. They able to shake and party. They couldn't do that
Sugar.
before. Mm,
On Venice Beach, they have old folks retirement home on the beach, right? And right next
mm,
door to it, they pull up. You know how like when businesses get ready to close down, they pull their gate down. They
mm,
pull something like that up, and you can sit in there and play cards and do all this stuff, but they have their space. And these people just living their lives. These older
mm.
people.
Because they still alive, right? But it is what it is, and these men don't want to accept. They got this. They made this imaginary leader thing. It's an imaginary. I understand if you're in some religions, but it's still imaginary because the man didn't have qualifications to be a leader. Just the fact that he was a man, that he
I
was
think
put
even
there as the leader.
I think even in religions is imaginary because there are
That's what I'm
requirements in
saying.
that Bible.
Yes,
In that
that's what I'm
Bible, there are
saying.
requirements for ministers, deacons, husbands, wives, children, blah, 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 blah. So if you're not following those requirements, but you want to beat us over the head with the Bible and tell us, thus said the Lord, you're not even doing what thus says the
See,
Lord.
see, why another thing, even when it comes down to the Bible that's your book, right? Now, you can give us all the rules and regulations you want to about the wives and the husbands and the roles. But the main thing is, he said, treat your wife as you would treat the church or how you would
Yeah.
treat Jesus, right? So anything you do to me is the same thing you would do to Jesus. Because he said
Yeah.
that's how. So that would now eliminate all the other bullshit that you're talking. And that will show you that you really do not believe in that book. Because if he says treat your wife, and matter of fact, I got get that scripture. You ain't got your little thing on you. Get to pull out a little scripture real quick. Wait, your application.
I'm right here. I was putting it in the not the scripture itself, but putting in what it said in the chat. But hold on. I mean not in the
Now I
chat,
want
but
you
in
to.
the
Now I want you to.
comments. But let me find
Yeah,
it. Hold on.
please, 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 please.
Likewise, this is First Peter 3:7. Likewise, husband, live with your wives in an understanding and showing honor to the women. No, that's not it. Hold on. Okay. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave
There we
himself
go.
up for her.
There we go. There we go. They forgot that one, right? Hey, baby. What's up, LaShawn?
Ephesians 5:28 says, in the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself.
Now we want the first one, right? Because a lot of them don't love their bodies. But as you love God, the first
We
one.
know.
Right.
Right.
So if you're abusing us, that means that's how you would treat Jesus. That's how you treat God. You praising him, right? You're supposed to praise us then, right? And find a wife a good thing. So not only that you find a good thing, you're supposed to praise us too. If you're supposed to treat us as you would treat Jesus, right? You will praise him, right? Because that means God is comparing us to Jesus, not you. People didn't catch that part neither on Fleek. Catch that on Fleek. So we would be the closest thing to Jesus, not you. Read that scripture one more time. If you didn't put it away.
I did not put it away. Hold on. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her.
See? Gave himself up for who?
Her. Ephesians 5:25.
No, I want you to say that last word. Gave himself up for who? Her.
Her.
Right? So patriarchal system is not going to break it down. We keep thinking it's a patriarchal book, but it's not. I just don't know how to read it. I'm on my sugar cubes or babes. I don't know the damn name, but I should know, right? But I did a whole thing and I had to break it down. The same way when women, you got to understand, we always got to do things by ourselves. And the men, that's because God knew we can get stuff done on our own. Men need help. That's why we had to help them. We are their helpmates. Because he made us strong enough where we get stuff done. We are the prize. Because whatever y'all was doing, y'all still needed help. He didn't say, and men, you be the help. Y'all help each other.
He made Eve to be a helpmate to Adam.
Right, because we good. He made us strong enough to where we good. They weren't. Again, they don't know how to read it. That's why we are stronger than them in mind, body, and soul. They just got us in strength. That's about it. But that's why women, we get stuff done. They can help us or they cannot. We're going to find a way to get it done. Certain things, they need help. They need help with their clothes, help with their food. They can't even freaking cook. Now, There are men that's the best chefs ever. I'm not referring to that. But for the way they talk about it being traditional, technically, you're not helping us if you're paying rent and taking care of your own kids. You're not helping us. Them are your fucking kids. We're doing all the help because them are your clothes. I can wash my own. I'm washing your clothes, cooking your food, and making your life better where you ain't making my life better. You want us to be your peace. So either which way you put it, we're suffering the way Jesus was suffering. That's why he said, treat us like the body of, because we are the closest thing, baby, not you. That will make us the prize. That's why I say people, we're in a patriarchal system, and they keep thinking that book is for it's about the man, because y'all don't know how to read it. All through that book, he shows you, woman, how strong the woman is. But again, you let the man teach it to you instead of opening it up yourself. Anytime a man misuse a woman, he's misusing Jesus. That is in the scripture. I'd make that up. She read it not once, she read it about 2 or 3, 4 times. So why don't women throw that in men's face? They ready to throw in your face, oh, you property, this. Now, is this how you treat Jesus? Why women don't say, is this how you, if Jesus was here right now, is this how you would treat him? Because according to the same scripture from the same Bible that you just read, this is what it says how you should treat Jesus, how you should treat the woman. So if you slapping on me, if Jesus come here right now, you going to slap him? Are you going to beat him up? You're going to show him respect. Ain't that what the book told you to do? Women got to learn how to combat with that book that they told you is patriarchal, but technically it's not. You just don't know how to read it. You're getting their scriptures that the man want the same way the slave masters gave us the scriptures about slavery. Again, people run with it, but they don't know how to read it. When he was talking about the slaves and masters, that was because I owed you money and I had to work off my debt. But after the debt was paid off, and then you're supposed to treat your servant good. He didn't say beat him. Where in the Bible said beat him and whip him and obey? And no, that meant it like any other job. When you go to, right? When you go to work and they give you some rules and regulations that you sign your name for, you want to work here, you obey the rules or they fire you, right? They didn't mean by obey them by doing whatever they said. At any point, you can walk out. People got the Bible confused, but the slave master gave you certain scriptures that suited that. Same way men give you certain scriptures that suit the patriarchal system. But if you take the time out to read it yourself, you would see no. Ain't no way in the world he's going to say you find a good thing, and a good thing you beat, you cheat on, you slap. That's how you treat a God gave you a good thing. That's how you treat a good thing. And then he should have gave you a bad thing then. Y'all got to stop letting these people tell you about that book too. Stop it. Oh, it's for the man. No, it's not. I got a whole video. I got nothing but scripture. So I'm showing you how it's not for the man. I done pulled up a lot of scriptures. But even if you just go by them too. Tell them, Jack, we be in it, Jack. Tell them, Jack, you know, we get the teacher now. Let them know, Jack. Tell them, Jack, we don't play over here. So who's the prize? Who's the prize? Who is the prize? The Bible tells you who's the prize. And somebody come, if you can't get certain things done, and somebody come and help you, don't you say thank you. They would be the prize. I'm helping you. I'm the good thing. According to the book. And love don't boast. Love, a lot of things, Bible keep telling you what the book love is. So y'all keep learning from men. That's why they tell you to learn from men. And then they want to put non-married women in their place. That's why they want you to stay married. This is why they want you not to stay married. This is why they want you to get married. Why? Because you no longer have a voice. See, all that shit they're talking, it don't work on non-married women. I can say what I want to. That's why they're mad. That's why they say black women, white men probably say it too, but we black. I guess all men say that. Oh, your mouths. That's why they want to shut you up and get you married. So now you don't have a voice. I'm not your property. I'm not your wife. That's why, oh no, we're not gonna shack up, and no, we ain't getting married. Because now I'm not bonded to you. All them rules, now all them married rules you just said go out the window, because it does not apply to me, because I am not your wife. That's that old saying, you better take it home to. Remember when the men and women, you better go argue with your wife, but take that with your wife. They used to say that all the time. Go tell that shit to your wife. I ain't your wife. Women used to say that. I ain't your wife. That's why you're gonna hit the wall and you're gonna be lonely. No, I'm gonna be fucking free. That's what I'm gonna be. Because being married is just like going under captivity, god damn it. And we don't want to go into captivity. I want to have a voice. Because I don't have to even learn from y'all. I can read the book myself. Because as they say, the woman is not supposed to teach the man. Well, goddamn, I ain't married to y'all. I ain't even got to talk to y'all. Biblically, I could teach. I could teach other women. None of us married. That's why they want us married. Because if we all the women get together and read that Bible and read it the way it's supposed to be read, and all the things that they remove, we can read it the way it is. So they don't interpret it the way they want to interpret it, and we can read it as is. She said, I'll tell a ninja that. Tell it.
Baby, I'm quick to whip out my Bible and slap somebody across the face with it. Because you ain't finna try to talk me out of my undies, and we ain't finna go to war.
Well, good thing we're not married. We don't have to go through a lot of things, right? A lot of them rules don't apply to us because we ain't married. That's why they want to get us married and shit. No.
And a lot of these wives are conditioned to think that their husband can just take it when they're married too. No, you have autonomy over your own body. I'm sorry.
But even if that's true, it can still go the other way around too. You can't tell her no neither. Did they forget that part? You can't be like, oh, I'm tired.
Right.
They forgot
Unless
that.
it's
But what?
agreed on for a certain amount of time.
Hello. Yeah, you could
That'll
take it.
be those are the stipulations.
So, just same way you could take it, you could never tell me you tired. Neither. That's scripture. When I say get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up. Now, come here, boy, get it up. When I say get it up, then get it up. Damn it, I don't want to hear though. You no, we don't want to hear you can't get it up. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I don't want to hear you tired. I don't want to hear you worked all day. You cannot deprive me. Just like I
I
can't
don't hear you
deprive you.
stressed out. It ain't working.
Yep. Oh, they forgot that. I keep trying to tell.
Flippity flop, flop, flop. Flippity flop.
Get it. I say get it up now. Damn it. We better
You better go take
rise.
some little blue pills or some blue chew.
And imagine before the blue pills, like what? Like I could divorce you. You know that, right?
Oh yes,
They
yes.
don't know
I've
that is
told my
grounds of
ex-husband that.
that is
I told
grounds
my
for divorce. They don't
told my
know that, right?
ex-husband that plenty of times. Why he
That
want to
is,
brag on what he gonna do with the next woman? With what? It ain't even getting hard. Sir,
and
please.
you cannot deprive me. The same way we can't be sick and we can't be tired and we can't tell you no. Guess what? According to that book, you can't tell me no neither. And if your thing is unable to work, I can divorce your ass. Oh, we gotta always feel sympathy for y'all though, right? I hear you. I hear. I hear. Like I tried to tell men all the time, especially the ones who all says, "Oh, I got a high sex drive and I gotta have it all the time." I tell men, let me tell you something. With women, it's a psychological thing. But even if it wasn't a psychological thing, you could never outsex us. Ever. Because
nope.
Beside your thing have to get up and you gotta rejuvenate. Our stuff is 24 hours ready. Right? It's ready. Besides, if you get your menstrual, and some people nasty enough to do it when they menstrual, but our stuff stay ready. You don't stay ready. But because we are in our psyche, whatever, if we're not comfortable or we don't feel connected, we don't want it. But hookers out there, that white thing they out there all night. She can serve different people. Every woman can do that with one man. We don't have to have different. We can have one man and do it every fucking day. Hour on top of hour. We ain't got to take a nap. We ain't got to do none of that. We ain't got to rest. We can have multiple orgasms. After that one, your ass out. Then you got to get ready for the next one. You would never outsex us. So telling us all of this, I like sex a lot. Ninja, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. It's not like you could outsex us. It's that we're not connected. We don't want it. But if you made us want it, you can't outdo us. And all you need is some lube to get a little dry. Lube that sucker up is right back in action. Less than 0.2 seconds. Why your thing don't get back up in 0.2 seconds? You can't outdo us there neither. We choose not to. It doesn't make you more sexual. We just don't want it. But if we chose to want it, you can't outdo us. You can't. Vaginas is made to be open whenever we want to open it, whenever we want it, and how long we want it.
It used to be so disgusting. The Vapors, he used to be like narrating, and then he used to be, yeah, that's saying it. You know, you just can't stop it. You just can't plug up a hole. I just be like, shut the hell up. Just shut up. What your country bumpkin self? Ugh.
Shoot. A lot of times women gotta go to sleep. When the man go to sleep, a woman gotta finish herself. Let me stop. Let's go.
Baby, yes. Because that was what marriage was all about. When I got divorced, honey, baby.
Girl, you see, I left her right there, right? We left her. We're gonna leave that right there. Now let's go.
And why do women need you? Because a man that cannot fix nothing is pointless. Like, what's the point in you being in somebody's life and you can't fix shit?
Mm-hmm. That's facts. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hey.
Yes, sir. Yep.
How you doing?
Great.
Good, man. I just want to say, like, it's crazy that you're even having this argument. Like, people come on and like think that men are not the problem.
Yeah. They know, Mike. They know men are actually the problem, but they just don't want to admit it.
That's true. That's so true, bro.
They know it.
That is crazy. It is honestly crazy. Okay. What a wild world. That's all I want to say, bro.
It's crazy. The world is crazy, Mike. Don't lose no sleep over it though. Just let these boys. You can't save everybody. Book of Black, go ahead.
I don't disagree with it. In fact, it's just pointing out the obvious. I just have a question though. Like, what do you want? I mean, you say men are the core of everything wrong in the world. Then what? What's the solution?
The first step is for us to accept it. We gotta get to step one. Do you think we're at step one where men actually realize that we're the problem? Like, as a collective, not every man, 'cause we don't need every man to it. You know what I mean? But like, do you think that we are anywhere near the point where enough men realize that we're the problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say yes. I feel as if they know the problem exists, but they realize that there's nothing they can do about it, or they don't want to take part of it because it doesn't really affect them.
But it does affect them, though.
In what way?
In this economically, socially, politically, like in every way, it affects them. Like, what do you mean?
But that's
the air they breathe, the food they eat, the lack of education that they have, the reason why they can't read past the 6th grade level. It's not different.
It's different.
You're making it different, but it's the.
Is it not different? How is the same? Is you're saying like the issues of America and all this stuff is the same as like Canada? No, it's completely.
Yes.
It's completely different.
It's not completely different in Canada.
Different.
It's not. Wait, let me ask you a question. Does wealth inequality exist in Canada?
Does it exist in Canada?
Yeah. Are there? Yes. Does wealth inequality exist in Canada?
Well, yes.
Are there poor people in Canada?
Yes.
Are there people that are unaliving because they don't have enough food to eat? Yes. Are there homeless people in Canada?
Yes.
Yes. Is there a mental health problem in Canada? Yes. Is there a physical? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you have to understand. Yes, those problems exist, but the means to those problems are different. I mean,
the means to those problems.
Well, not means, but like, how would I word it? Like, how those problems are even started are different. I would like to say different.
How?
I mean, let's say.
How does wealth inequality start? What typically starts wealth inequality?
I would say it's different.
No. What starts wealth inequality?
What do you mean by wealth? Do you mean
what
by
he just said?
What do you consider as wealth?
Wealth, money, capital, land, assets.
I'd say people start such things.
No. Mentally, I'm saying. What leads to wealth inequality? What's the number one contributing factor?
I mean, there's a lot of
greed.
There's a lot of contributing
factors. Greed, brother. Greed. Greedy men in Canada, greedy men in America, greedy men in Mexico, greedy men in Colombia, greedy men in Brazil, greedy men in Guatemala. There's greedy men all around the planet. Greed.
I would agree that greed is a contributing factor, but to imply that only men can be greedy.
I'm not implying only men can be greedy, but the men. See what I'm saying? How are we getting from what actually is versus what could be? Why are you arguing about what could be, and I'm arguing about what is? You see how we're having two different arguments now?
That's my argument.
Yes, women can be just as greedy as men. But what does the greediest woman in the world look like though? How does that hurt us? Name a woman you know that's the greediest woman in the world. Who did she hurt? How many people can she actually affect negatively?
Well, she's dead, but Queen Elizabeth.
I was about to say Queen Elizabeth.
Cool, Queen Elizabeth. Okay.
And if not,
Maybe they're greedy for different reasons. Some of them are greedy for power, or men may be greedy for finances.
That's stupid, because it's all power. Finances equal power. See how dumb that was? Finances equal power. You always try to act like nothing you're saying makes sense. I don't know if you know. Control, power, control, same thing, brother. Same concepts. Finances, an abundance of finances typically lead to an abundance of power and control, and they want that because they're greedy.
And that's another one of my biggest arguments, which I'm not arguing with it anymore. They always go, well, how do we get out of this? I keep talking about economics. But the women need to do economics. We have to learn how to spend our money. We got to know where and how to spend our money. You cannot move up and have the power and have a better group of people unless we got economic power. All this woman sitting home baking cakes and shit and being good to the man and respect is not going to help us as a people. Don't matter how good we are to them, we don't have no finances coming in. That is the first thing. Rather we get along or we don't get along. Rather we married or not married. Even if we never speak to each other again. We have to create economical power. That means we have to get stores, buy from us, save our money, buy some land. Whatever that they do, invest in stock, whatever. But, and then stop giving our money to progress in other people's economical power. We all know that the Chinese food is terrible for us. We cannot stay out of that store, which they never come into none of our stores. They are not, even let's say their food was the best food. Let's say they gave us the fresh food ever. They do not exchange their money with us. We should not exchange our money with anybody who does not exchange their money with us. So we have to give up Chinese food for them to know. Let me tell you something. Every, I don't care what state you live in, every state has a Chinatown. They have a this town, a that town, where people go, their group of people go spend their money. A lot of them don't even go to the neighborhood stores, even the supermarket, because it doesn't belong to them. I have seen them drive to Chinatown, especially if you in New York. They would get on the train, they would have their shopper carts and everything to get the same thing they can get across the street. The same exact thing they can get across the street. And I'm not talking about the corner store, I'm talking about the supermarket. If you can't come into our stores, we're not I can't tell you how many years we have put their kids in college. They have not given us a dollar. They don't come. They sit up there. We go to their stores, their beauty supply stores. Why we don't put money together to get our own beauty supply stores? We are the biggest consumers. So if you're going to invest in something, invest in things that we would spend the most of our money on. Why you don't invest in sending these young girls to the nail technician schools? We get our nails done and our hair done the most. That's where they make the billions of dollars from.
Now, that's one thing that I will agree with my former pastor about. He did preach about those kind of things, and that I agree with him on, because it's the same thing that you're saying, and I agree with you.
But we want to argue about baking a fucking cake, right? Instead of saying, who could do this, who could do that? Like, what do we spend the most money on? And it just so happened women are the biggest consumers. The biggest consumers. Then our supposed to be or want to be entertainers, which ain't gonna happen, but it would be nice if they're black, is to put their stuff in our stores. We should be selling our own cocoa butter, our own shea butter. We should have our own little store. They're selling all of this stuff that we use. Hey, you want a perm your hair? We should be selling our own perms. They don't perm their hair, but their stores are full of it. We don't invest our money. Women are the biggest consumers. The biggest consumers. You're never going to go wrong with a beauty supply store. Never. Only problem we may have is getting their hair. But guess what? We may not can't get human hair, but we can sure enough get synthetic hair. You got a lot of these artists now coming out with wigs and stuff now. Order from them. Then that would cut their money down. But we don't believe in exchanging. They don't do it. But I guarantee you they'll be at every damn pantry getting their free food. Any place, I know for a fact, any place they giving out something free, baby, they go woody woo. They don't literally do that. And then all of them there. All of them are right there. They'll come, thank you. You don't never see them in return. You don't see them with pantries. If they do have pantries, we don't know about it. It ain't open to where they giving out food to the hungry. You don't never see that. So you want to talk about what we're going to do for black people. Learn how to spend your money. All that other shit is for the birds. Every other race knows that. Every other race knows. You keep the money in-house. The best you can. The best you can. We should be saying them Chinese restaurants closing the fuck up. Closing up. Then they will not only would we have economic power and we'll take away some, they will respect us. They will respect the shit out of us because they need our money back. So if they do open back up, if they don't want to get the memo, hey, you better shop at one of these local stores, then you don't have to. And guess what? We don't have to neither.
Because our buying power is very powerful.
Yes. Shit, we got to have the eyelashes. We got to have the this, the that. All the things that we can learn to do ourselves.
And do you know how much, men talk about how much we spend on our nails, our hair, but men be spending bank on their hair, getting a haircut.
Either who, whatever we spend the most of our money at, that's the stores we should be opening for ourselves. But A lot of people, we go to too many nail salons, then we get mad at how we're treated in the nail salons, but we don't want to open up the nail salons. We don't want to learn how to do it, but then we complain at the same time. They don't. This why I don't have these conversations no more. Like now, I'm speaking in general. That's different, but I'm not arguing back and forth with people. Because the person was the women, nigga. It don't matter. All that you saying, for it to be general for our people, it doesn't consist of a household, one household, and you working and me just catering to you. That's not going to help us as a people. It's not. Even back in the days, even when the artists first came out, they did their own makeup. Matter of fact, they didn't even have makeup to even suit black people. We had to mix it up. The black folks had to mix it up, and that we knew how to do when we didn't have stuff. We again, black people are creators. We mix it up, took that color, and that's how they had the foundation and stuff. They had to cook on their own. A lot of artists said they had to do their own makeup. They didn't have makeup artists and stuff. So these are the things we were doing. Now all of a sudden we don't know how to do it. Before we had to do our own hair. Now all of a sudden we don't know how to do our own hair. So we got to keep giving people money. Keep giving these people our money. You don't want to be natural? Well then, hey, them perms, let's get our own stores. We're in 2024. We still ain't got it. We still ain't got them. We may got some. We should have a bunch of them. We should have a chain line of stores. In 2024. We should have a chain line of corner stores or bodegas. Why we still don't have no economic power. But you want us to fucking bake a cake and be your piece and all this other bullshit. We should be past that as a people. We should be past the Betty Crocker stage. It's time to go, how you say, stand on business and go get that bag. That's what we should be doing. This is what we should be talking about. All this other bullshit, that's what's keeping us behind. We don't got to like each other. We don't have to. We ain't got to talk to each other. But at least we can say we as a people are growing. All the little stores, I guess once they stopped straightening the hair, that's when you should see like a lot of black people with the hair salons. That's when young girls used to get their hair straightened. Now they once the straightening comb went out of style, them beauty salons is dying. They dying out.
Yep. And then now the dang on braiders and hairstylists, their prices are just astronomical.
Oh yeah. And that was something too, if you remember, we used to do that ourselves. They're coming up with all these styles. Like we didn't do that in the 80s and 90s.
Exactly.
One friend knew how to braid. One friend knew, you had friends that knew how to braid, friends that knew how to do the weave. You know what I'm saying? We knew friends that knew how to straighten hair. You had the friend, but we all did these things ourselves. It's like maybe when it towards the end of the 90s, all of a sudden we forgot how to braid hair. Like we had a friend there who knew how to do it. Give him a little $25, you're good to go. Right? At that point, it was literally $25.
Yep.
We knew how to do all of that. We didn't even have the money or the means to even go to these places. Now, for them, just let's say you got dreads, you simply just twisting the hair, just twisting it, and not even the whole head, just the root. They want $180, $160. Like, what the fuck is you doing?
My first set of locks, the lady charged me $60 to start them. I called her back. She did my dad's locks for the same price. I said, okay, I need mine's touched up. She said it was $160. I started doing my own locks at that point.
Hello. And that's a simple twist. And it's not even a twist. It's just a rubbing it together. You know, if you got locked, you know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. And it's the quickest thing to do. You're literally in and out.
For 10 years, I did my own locks.
After Black Wall Street, it seemed like people just gave up. Baby, or maybe they gave up because they know for a fact that every time we try to do something, yes, now you can blame that on. See, stuff like that they don't want to blame on the system. They blame that that's on the system. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we don't have to do it big. We can do it small. Like I said, even if we changed our spending habits, that would speak volumes. Even if we don't own nothing, just watch where you spend your money. I don't want to open up a small thing. Open up every other place. Like majority of the stores, they're by either the Indians. When I mean Indians, I mean mid-Indians, whatever you call them, Pakistanis, whatever. Them and Hispanics got most of the bodega stores. Like everybody else can get a loan for businesses but us. But do you think we decided to come up with a hedge fund or something that we start?
Nope.
Why we don't creating hedge funds so we can take this group of money and put a store here, put a store there. We don't even, it could be just that small. Because we cannot get the loans, and if we do get the loans, the interest is like astronomical. And if you can't get the stores, just do it how it was done back in the days in the damn house. Shit. So people keep talking about what we gonna do. What we gonna do. Learn how to spend your money. It's that simple. It's really not that hard. Thought is not that hard. And everything else will fall in place. Everything else will fall right in place. If we doing what we gotta do as a people, we will learn how to respect one another. Cause we putting in that work. We putting in that work. The women out there doing what they're doing, the men doing out there what they're doing.
Right.
Then you ain't gotta worry about us disrespecting the black man because we're gonna respect you and you're gonna respect us because we're putting in that work. That's how you build. It's gonna come automatically seeing a bunch of men working, doing what's right, seeing a bunch of women working, doing what's right. We will respect each other then. Because we too tired to be arguing and fighting. We said we don't be working. We working. We building here. We will have so much pride in ourselves. We don't got no pride in ourselves. So how we know how to treat each other?
Mm-hmm.
How we know how to talk to each other? Shoot. They worrying about women gotta be home to cook. Guess what? How about let's open stores while we working and we bringing in that money, put some ain't that many black restaurants, and when they do open up, they don't even stay open up long. They close them because again, we act like we love soul food, but then we don't support it. We go back to a giant restaurant.
But you know what? That's because, like Jackie was saying, a lot of times the prices are so sky high.
Yeah, they sky high, but if again we don't have no hedge funds or this funds or that funds, we're not putting money as a people to the side, and then we're not. It's a shame that even when the other guy forgot his name, even when he act like he was doing it, but he was scamming people. See, we can't even get together as a people because we don't know how to not scam each other. Because they want they as he said, they get greedy. They get greedy and they want the bins and the road. But so you take all these people money. That's not the reason why we can't get nowhere. We don't want to distribute the wealth. Greed. Absolutely correct. Freaking greed. Ridiculous. Then they going on the platform, trying to figure out a problem that's really simple. It's not that hard. Money, power, respect. What it look like? Money, power, respect. Be like, you see the light. Look like money, power, respect. Money, power, respect. Money. They've been telling you the goddamn answer for the longest. Even before that, right?
What the OJ say? For the love of money.
Who was there from their mother? Oh, something dollar. But that part, the greed even fell the greed in the end. So I guess we'll be stuck for eternity, right? Talking about women all goddamn day, right? Now we gonna be longer. Yo, even the videos that I showed, that was the 80s, the same conversation, right?
Right, and we in 2024.
And then we see videos before that. It was the same, even in the 50s, it was the same conversation.
In the 1800s.
It was the same conversation for the black people. God damn it. So I guess this world is done. We're gonna be having the same conversation. But so now when they gonna I feel sorry for the after we long gone, right? And then the younger generation, they gonna say, well, goddamn, the same we having the same conversation. Why you want to be there for your kids? Well, you got a big mouth. And you women this. And you man that. And you women and you ain't taking care of your kids. And we're disrespected. But you need to be our peace. And we are the leaders. And we're logical. God damn it. Now, I know I'm not even mad no more because this shit bad funny. I don't care what video you put on, it's the same conversation, especially for the black man, right? We're going to be stuck at that conversation forever. We ain't never going to get nowhere because we cannot get past that conversation for the past 100 years, right? It'll be much better.
Sugar, remember, the white man conditioned us to be against the black man. Keep our foot on their necks.
Hey, go 25 years later. 25 years later.
We working with the ops. We done turned into
oh man, right? So women, don't be mad no more because it's gonna be it's been going on for 100 years already. You women ain't shit, right? I'm telling you, when men start talking like that from now on, just start laughing, okay? Just laugh. The shit is like really funny now. You can't get mad no more. You can't get mad like that. Like I've heard this before. I think it was my grandmama's generation and the generation before her, and now you too, right? God, and y'all still ain't get it right. I know. In the next 50 years, y'all gonna be still saying the same damn thing. We ain't never gonna get nowhere as people because we stuck on this conversation. God dang it. I'm not messing with y'all. I'm not messing with y'all at all, right? But what's the solution? What's the solution? What are we gonna do at the people? Well, they're taking the men out the house, and the kids need their father, and your women are bitter. Y'all don't let us see our kids and the child support. Oh man, I'm not messing with y'all. I'm not messing with y'all. And y'all only getting 15 more minutes from me, right? But before that 15 minutes, I will do a little music break. And y'all only getting 15 more minutes from me. I'm not playing with y'all.
Angel, how you doing? Glad you came through. Welcome to the Sugar Love Show, where we have fun. Grab your friends and dance along. Join the party all night long. Love you for a ride. Buckle up, hold tight. We're gonna ignite. Shake your body to the rhythm. Let the music take control. When the beat drops, you better lose control. We're to make memories, create an unforgettable night. Forget about your worries. Let's spread the love and shine so bright. Welcome to the Sugar Love Show, where the energy is high. We're gonna dance the morning light. Feel the music.
And I just like to say, I do know that people are making money off these conversations, but it's not being divided for the whole community. That's greed. Like somebody like an Anton Daniels, that's greed. They are making money talking about this now. They found a way to make money, but that's not advancing the people. It's advancing their pockets. It's not circulating. So they took our problems and figure, well, let me talk about women all damn day. It's profitable. Well, let me talk about men all day. It's profitable. That doesn't help us as a people. Just want to let y'all know. That doesn't help us as a community. You keep saying that. If the money ain't circulated, all that shit y'all talking just goes. People like to hear it and it goes to y'all pockets. Does not go to the community. So I hear you. And for the next, so this world is over, we're going to still be hearing you, right? Oh, let's go.
Greedy. And they want more of it because they're greedy. So it's not different. We're dealing with the same core issues everywhere around the world. I don't know why you guys act like humans are completely different people. We are the same fucking people everywhere. Our eye colors are different. Our hair is different. Our skin tone is different. But the ideology is exactly the fucking same everywhere, all around the planet, in every single era. Not just in this era, in the era previous. The era previous to that, like it's the same shit. And the reason why it keeps repeating itself is because a bunch of slow motherfuckers, I ain't gonna say like who, but they keep lying to people. They keep not accepting the truth. They keep saying stuff like, these things don't really affect us. What? The fuck are you talking about? Absolutely they affect us.
Tell it, Cap.
You walk outside, your air is dirty, your water's dirty, your food is dirty. You're telling me that doesn't affect you? You're telling me the price of housing doesn't affect you?
Nope.
You guys sound really young. You are young, actually. Both of y'all sound like you're in your 20s. You either live with your mama and your daddy, or y'all or y'all got some shitty rundown apartment somewhere, or you living with 3 fucking roommates. Like, let's be fucking for real.
A woman.
Your car is 10 years old. It's a hand-me-down, or you're struggling to pay the insurance. Like, let's be for real. You telling me that this you just think this is a rite of passage? You think your living conditions are a rite of passage?
Women what? Go on, carry on.
Unlikely you have something to say.
He did.
Oh no, I was just confused. I don't live in a shitty apartment or roommates.
I mean, it's a crazy.
But,
I mean,
but my understanding
make it
was
a lot of
if I live in that lifestyle, I will probably be more geared to the understanding that you have more than the understanding that I have.
What?
Yeah, I think if I lived and that's it. I'm just being honest.
Oh my God.
Wow,
Now he finna middle America me.
I'm not
suburban
saying that either, but I'm saying that
suburban black guy me.
Situation.
Oh, that look dope. What the fuck is that? Hold on, wait. I ain't never seen no shit like that. What was that? That was crazy. Now I don't even know who said that.
Me either. Send me one too. I want to see
that shit was dope. Stop begging, nigga. Hey, that shit was dope. I like that type of shit. All right, go ahead, man. A diamond gun. That's crazy. We up, baby.
That might be Bigo here on.
Go ahead, unlikely. Y'all wildin' for trying to act like you trying to be like, well, you know, if I grew up in the ghetto like you, I would have the same ideology, maybe. Like, nigga, if you don't get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I'm not saying that either. But I think
Thank you.
But I don't have much to say on this. But I think when you
I know that guy's
this,
voice.
when you say you have to accept it, right?
I know
the
that
first thing you
guy's
must
voice.
do is accept it. This is like AA meeting.
I
So you
just
accept
can't
the
think
fact that yes,
of a show
men have
to be on.
contributed to
I think his name is
a lot
Fatty.
of quote unquote grievances of society, right? That's not
Issues.
a problem. I like calling it grievances because
I like calling them issues. I like calling them problems.
But again, that goes back to being somewhat subjective because some of
It's
these
not subjective.
issues are not issues.
It's not subjective. It's not.
I'm calling grievances.
No. I'm gonna call it what it is. I'll change it for you so you can't wiggle and weasel your way out of it. Please name any form of destruction that can't be traced back to a man.
I mean, any form of
Night,
destruction.
night, Miss
that doesn't-
Societally, on a societal level, on a large scale.
I will say none.
He said none.
Then there we go.
No,
Then there we go.
He said none.
We're fine. No one is saying that's not. No one is saying it's not true. We're saying that's not the only truth. That's
literally what you guys are saying, and that is the only truth.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying that's not the only truth. I'm saying there's.
That is the only truth when it comes to this. Where is the gray area? Be specific. What do you mean?
Remember
what gray area?
When I initially got into your live, you were saying that the issues in society, and I said, well, both parties contribute to the issues of society. Now, again, my statement I remain the same, that I don't see all the things that we complain about as issues. Some of them are just simply grievances that make you feel uncomfortable. Not necessarily issues.
I got a question. Have any of y'all ever seen the movie Harlem Nights? I know Chad and LJ have, but have either one of you gentlemen seen the movie Harlem Nights?
Is that the one where she gets shot in the foot?
Yeah.
He liked that part.
Okay.
He liked that. That's the only
In
part
the
he
movie Harlem
remember.
Nights, you remember when Arsenio Hall and his hench, and what's his name? Miguel, whatever. They ran Eddie Murphy off the road and they were shooting at him or whatever. It was pew-pewing at him with the Tommy pew-pews and shit, right? And then it was that one dude at the end, after they would get done shooting, he would go
pow,
pow, pow. Right? And then they, oh, you killed my brother. Quick, you light the whole thing up. And then the little dude would come in, pat, pat, at the end. That is the different. That is men and women. That's how the dynamics work. So whatever you want to say, men contribute, women contribute to the problem. Women is the nigga that was going pat, pat. Men is fucking the dudes with the Tommy guns, brother. So stop doing that. Women contribute to the problem too. If they, he was just a part of the gang. If the gang didn't exist, he wouldn't even have been there, fam. He wouldn't have had. They put a gun in his hand. They made him. He's there. He's there for. He was just there to be there. He was just doing. Pap, pap. That's all he got. So stop saying that he was a part of the. He wasn't. It wasn't him. It was Eddie Murphy. It was he wasn't even driving. He was in the back seat.
He got
he wasn't driving. He was in the back seat, and he had the smallest weapon. He didn't do no damage. So if women contribute to the issues, what I'm telling you is
we got cat fake little brother up here.
is if women stop doing everything negative If every woman was perfect and they just stopped doing everything negative, what would the world actually look like? Would the world change?
That's what I was.
Would mass incarceration stop? Would the shit happening in the Congo stop? Bombings in Yemen, would that stop? Would Assata Shakur be able to come home? Like, what would actually change if every woman in the world just became perfect overnight? What would actually change? Would you even notice it? You wouldn't even notice it. Like, you don't notice your girlfriend hair color changing. Like, you don't notice that she got a haircut. Like, it would be at that level. Like, you wouldn't even notice it. So saying that women contribute to the problems too, what is the point in saying that?
That can't fake little brother.
So what you're saying is if men were to just become perfect overnight, there would be a change that would be noticeable?
Yes.
How would you know that?
From the numbers?
And
from the numbers?
And also, I would have
from
to
the numbers.
What is perfection to you?
Not hurting anybody.
I can what? Not hurting anybody means you're perfect?
I mean, that's a good, to me, yeah. That's where not hurting anybody is the
subjective feeling. What is
nobody knows what perfection looks like. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly.
But so when it comes to not hurting people, if you can zero it out, that would be perfect. A 0 is perfect when it comes to not hurting people. So if you hurt nobody, because the goal should be to hurt nobody, right? So if all men didn't hurt anybody,
love you one another,
right? If all men tomorrow lay down all their weapons, didn't do any DV, didn't do any graping, didn't do any of that stuff, you're asking me, would it go noticed? Would it get noticed? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, because you just said you don't know what perfection is, and what you're
I know what perfection is when it comes to 0. That's perfect. If you don't hurt anybody, that's perfect. That is perfection. What are you talking about? I do know what it looks like then.
Have you ever heard of one's perception of reality could be perceived as illusion?
So what are you yapping about?
You may see 0 as perfection. I might see it far from it. So again,
then you don't know. Then you're just arguing to argue. Then okay. Let me ask you because this is you're trying to the pseudo intellectualism is kicking your ass right now. Let me ask you a question. If I'm gonna use a sports analogy because sports is easy to understand for most people. If I was Steph Curry and I shot 15 for 15 from 3, what would you call that?
I'll call that efficient.
Nope, don't be stupid. What would you call that?
No. I would call that efficient.
No, you wouldn't call it efficient.
All the other sports.
It would be more. It would be more than efficient. If I
efficient. Yeah.
No. What would anybody that was being honest and genuine and real say? What do you think that they would call it?
I would call it efficient, but
they would call it perfect.
I would, yes.
They would call it perfect. They would say they would literally say he was perfect from the field. Would they not?
Yeah, they would.
Okay, so it's perfection, right? So you don't have to wonder. Hold on, wait. So we don't have to wonder what perfection looks like when it comes to that. We know what it looks like. If you go 15 for 15 from the field, that is perfection. That is perfection, right? Okay. So apply that same logic to what I'm saying. If you make 0 mistakes, meaning, and in this case, when I say mistakes, I'm talking about hurting people. If you make 0 mistakes, that is perfection, and the world would look completely different. But here's the crazy thing. I'll roll it back a little bit. If every man did that, the world, I don't even know, brother, it would be crazy. The world would be crazy. Like, it would be so, you don't even know. People would probably be able to fly. You don't even know. I'm talking about like if men stop causing harm to other people, we might be able just to start flying like Superman, like Neo in the Matrix. Like, I don't even know. Like, you don't even know it's crazy. You don't even understand how wild the world would look, right? But I'm saying way before that, if 20% of men stop doing it, the world would be fucking crazy. Crazy.
Calling for perfection is like calling for the second coming of Jesus. Come on, be for real. Come on.
And you said perfection in terms of hurting other people. We shouldn't just be hurting other. Are you? That would like. Do you drive?
Yeah.
You drive, and you know there's a chance that by you driving, you can make a mistake, and end someone's life.
This is not about
That wouldn't be
chances.
intentional
This is
though.
about
you
you
can
just
hurt
asked
someone
me
though.
what would it, but you just asked me what would it look like, and that wouldn't
Exactly.
be something. I'm not. Once again, I'm not talking about an accident. I'm not talking about stepping on somebody's toe.
But
Use your brain.
are
Use
you
your
not
hold on.
hurting them
Wait.
by
Use
doing
your
that?
brain. Hold on. Wait. Use your brain. Do you need me to spell this out for you? If you really think that was that's where I was going with this, I'll spell it out for you, because that wasn't what I was talking about, right? That doesn't like be for real. Like, you really think that's where the conversation was going? If you accidentally knock somebody down or something like that, like, oh, that's not perfection. That's what we're talking about. No, let me be more specific. Deliberately harming other people, right? Are you there with me now?
I was already there. I need to ask you, who's enforcing this?
Oh my
Who are people
God.
Why are we
enforcing?
asking these dumb questions? That's
Thank you.
irrelevant. That's not what we were asking.
How is it irrelevant?
That wasn't the
I can't take
conversation. You
these
asked me,
I
how
can't
would
take
the world look different if men were to do what I said if women did? If men were to do the same thing, how would the world look different?
And
you said, do you think the world would change? And I said, yeah.
And I would agree it would change, but I would have to ask you, who is enforcing this?
Sir, that is so dumb. I'm
How
not
is
even.
it irrelevant?
Do you
It's
need
not
somebody
realistic.
to enforce, not to do
So
shit?
it's not realistic.
It's not realistic to talk about who's going to enforce perfection. That's stupid. Who's going to enforce perfection? What are you talking about?
Pub, hey, let me back up later, bro. I gotta help my daughter with homework.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. Who's going to enforce perfection? What? That doesn't make sense. That's not the discussion. You just want to pivot. You didn't ask that about women. When I said the same thing about women, you didn't say, well, who's going to enforce it? Now you want to talk about who's going to enforce it? Why? That shit's stupid. That's not the conversation. The point of the conversation is, if men stopped harming people, how would the world look? I'm sorry, that wasn't even it to begin with either. The whole point was, y'all trying to act like men and women both contribute to these issues, right? And you just say it because it sounds good. Because nobody's perfect, right? Okay, cool. Then I ask you, okay, so what would the world look like if every woman stopped, if every woman was perfect, if every woman stopped hurting people and yada, 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 what would the world actually look like? And I said that I don't think you would even notice it. I think it would. I don't think the majority of people would notice it. Honestly, I'm not saying it wouldn't help. Really, I'm just saying like we just wouldn't notice it. It wouldn't be noticeable, right? Now, on the flip side, if men stop doing that, what would the world look like? And then I said that the world would look completely different, pretty much. And you were like, really? As if that didn't make sense. As if you don't understand that men are responsible for fucking all the societal problems that we all just agreed was true. What the fuck?
Look, I agree with your prompt. It's just, how would you know? I'm so confused. You're just suggesting a theory.
Brother, I promise y'all, you must. It's imperative for you guys to stop with the pseudo intellectualism. That's not an intellectual question. To say it's just a theory. It's not just a theory.
So
it's not just a theory. It's a fucking fact. Yeah. If it ain't a fact, then name it. I did prove it. I'm proving it right now. Name something that's not, sir. This is what I'm saying. Listen closely. You say it's not a fact.
Indiana mom.
I say it is. All you have to do for what I'm saying to not be a fact. This is how sure I am.
This is he remind me of King Kev so much. It's just that Kev voice is like deeper, but he just remind me of King Kev so much. We have named him Keon, right? That's King Kev fake little brother, right? Because when Kev go in, right? So we're gonna call this dude Keon.
We have deemed you Sir Keon.
We had deemed him named Keon, Kev, fake little brother, right? He just remind me of him because he be getting in their asses, right? But of course, we're gonna finish this tomorrow. And hopefully y'all got something, some good information, or information we knew already but learned more about it. Hopefully y'all got something out of this show today, especially about the wet nurse, and plus how they did the kids, the children. And if y'all didn't catch the beginning, please catch the beginning, because we already know we fed the Caucasian kids. We already know we fed them from our breasts, but we just never really saw the conditions it was under, and why and how we had to have babies just so they can get pregnant, because they wanted to get pregnant and they needed our milk, right? Oh, it's a few of y'all left. Yeah, y'all better come on up out and come speak up. And speak up. Right? But hopefully y'all got something out of this show today. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, co-host, beautiful queen.
As always, thank you, Queen, for having me. Thank you, chat, for hanging in there with us and chiming in.
Right? And we're going to end this because I have to get a couple of hours sleep. And I'm going to try to, before my cat get on his bullshit, because I'm telling you, he's not letting me sleep. My cat has turned into like a newborn baby or something, like crying every fucking minute, and then hitting me in the head and trying to push me off the bed. And then I close the door to lock the cat out, and my son seemingly all of a sudden my door open and the damn cat is back there. I think they conspiring against me.
I'm gonna have to order us some CBD for both of them.
It's not the dog, it's the cat. I bought him some crack already.
For your cat and for my dog.
No, but I got some crack. I got the cat crack. I give him his crack and stuff. Oh, where's his crack at? I gotta give him his cat crack. I forgot that mellow him out or something. Shit. I'm sick of him. But I tell you, boy, And then he want to eat. I don't know. He just picked up a appetite, and he won't stop eating. And I'm like, food is expensive, and he doesn't care. I don't know. I'm going through a lot with this cat right now. He looking at me like right now, like, why am I telling his business and stuff and all this? But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys for being here.
In the land of real, there's a love that's true. Sugar love is her name, spreading sweetness too. Her voice like velvet, smooth.
Thank you, baby.
Summer breeze, a podcast, a soundtrack to everybody's ears. Sugar love, she's the queen of soul. Ooh, yeah. A podcast, the place where the stories unfold. Ooh, yeah. News and entertainment with a touch so sweet. She's the heartbeat of the community's beat. She brings the news with flavor like a cup of hot tea. Uncovering stories, bringing light to what we see. With her infectious laughter, she uplifts every soul. Sugar love, she's the one who makes us feel whole. She's the one who makes us feel whole.
Have a blessed night, everyone.
You too, sweetie.
In the land of real, there's a